trading partners. Lawrence Keller with the latest.
Speculation suggests the U.S. may impose around 20% tariffs on most imports.
Marine Le Pen, leader of France's far-right National Rally Party, has been convicted of embezzling European Parliament funds to pay her party's workers.
She received a 5-year ban from public office, effectively barring her from the 2027 presidential election.
In a significant legal development, a federal judge has blocked President Trump's effort to end temporary protected status for up to 350,000 Venezuelans.
The ruling ensures continued protection for these individuals residing in the United States.
Attorney General Pam Bondi directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, who is accused of the murder of CEO Brian Thompson.
This decision underscores the administration's commitment to pursuing capital punishment in severe cases.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as a statement of fact.
But he couldn't say Bondi.
Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Bondi.
We got a cup of coffee in here, please.
I don't know. I'm all red. I think it's definitely. I'm all reddish, big red. I don't know what happened. Face wasn't like what it is.
Damn good coffee and hot
and ugly. Oh,
my dog is your mind's best friend.
And ugly.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Right, Lindenhurst. Who's calling me from Lindenhurst?
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
It doesn't look so red over there. Something's wrong. Something's definitely wrong. And I don't care. Give me crack corn. Well, like, obviously I care. I'm talking about it. I'm obsessed with it. But I don't care. How about that Neil Peart? He's dead, but how about him? It is Thursday, right? Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. You're tuning into Coffee with the Dog program. I guess I'm still the dog. I smell like a dog. Here's the thing about New York City. How do I say this? New York City, first of all, the people there, they've lost their humanity because there's too many of them, and they're piled on top of each other, and there's not enough room. It's just not enough room for all of them. But if you go there, here's what you will see. If you go there and you're not from a major urban city, urban city, that's a good one. See, I told you, I'm ugly and stupid. Capitalism run amok is on display there. Last night, I did a paint party in an office building. And this office building, it's just on the 17th floor. Well, this company is on the 17th floor of this gigantic mega office building. Within, and I asked, what does this company do? Because it's gigantic. They have the whole floor of this gigantic skyscraper. What does this company do? What do you mean, How do you make all this money? Because they have, I don't know about where you work, but I've never worked in a place that has a kitchen stocked with a full bar, everything you could ever want to eat or drink, places to cook it. It's like a resort. And none of these people. I was doing a paint party. What the fuck is a paint party? And we've talked about this over and over again. What a paint party is. Fine, look it up. Doing a paint party for 46 people. 46, not a lot. Who work together for years, but never met each other. And they're very high-paid executives, I guess, and working from all parts of the country and the world. But I asked them again, what do you do? You're making all this money, and all you can tell me is, well, we do consulting, basically consulting. I do consulting. Everybody does consulting. You walk around all day consulting people. I don't get paid big money and just throw wild paint parties with all this food and not offer the main painter guy, I should say, not even a nibble, not a drink, not a nibble, nothing. You stock to the hill. You got all this money flowing all over the place, and then you walk out and you see poor people like right in front of where they're just throwing extravagant parties for no reason at all, and they do to get all this money, and then there's poor people struggling on the street. Then I go to pick up my car at a parking garage. Now, mind you, the company I'm working for that does the paint party stuff, they pay for the parking in advance. And I go to get my car, and the guy said $20 more. $20 more is paid for in advance. It says here $20. Where does it say $20 more? I don't see no $20 more. He's just looking for a tip. Am I going to get a receipt with this? Oh, he was going to just put it in his pocket. So I made him give me a receipt. But this is like backstabbing, shitty, and then people cutting each other off, ready to kill each other over parking spots. I hate New York City! Oh, that's what it was coming to. Anyway, we got Josh DeWay here today. Well, we don't have him here now, but I am DeWay. I'm not DeWay. He'll be here. Okay, fine. I'll play the only fucking commercial I have to play, and then I don't know what we'll do from there. Maybe we'll talk about New York City. We're definitely going to talk about some of this tariff shit, because I got to read you the headlines. The headlines make it sound as if, why even bother living? We should all just put a gun in our mouth and just borrow a gun from the guy who just offed himself right next to you. But I mean, because I don't even have the bullets. I don't have the gun. I don't know. But it's just doomsday, man. It's the world has come to an end. Unless you're a Republican, then they're taking victory laps over the world coming to an end. It's just a very weird time to be alive. I'd rather be in New York City. The only lonely boy in New York City, by the way. All right.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
I'm sorry, get the party started now. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are Stephen Ortiz, Ron. I gotta get up and run to another part of the house or something. Kane and GD later. Fenderson. Good morning.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you confused and losing? Huh? Are you confused and lost and feel like you're losing the way? Well, go to MindDogTV.com and get your Josh DeWay compass. Yes, your Josh the Way compass. It allows you to follow Josh the Way no matter where he is. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow him on Facebook. You can follow him on Instagram. Follow him on the other thing, TikTok. The Josh the Way compass. Follow Josh the Way to his next gig. MyDogTV.com, the only place to get your genuine Josh the Way compass.
Apparently, DJ was reading a little Dr. Seuss last night. He had that kind of green eggs and ham kind of cadence to that whole thing. You could follow him with green eggs. You could, I don't know where I was.
You can follow him with ham. You can follow him with jam. You can follow him and push him in front of a tram.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the voice of our chief pedophilia correspondent.
No, that's not that. No, I didn't go to college for that.
If I'm not vaping, I'm raping.
That's exactly right. Voicemail. Do the voicemail thing. I'm not talking to you fucking people.
No, I don't know how you make. Well, I just realized now that I've been doing it wrong because, Matt, you're saying everybody's consulting, and I've been doing it wrong. I've been insulting. That's probably why I'm not.
That's a consult. An insult is a consult.
Yeah, you're consulting the person and telling them how stupid.
You're an ugly motherfucker. Well, thank you for the consultation.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So I don't know why I'm doing it wrong then.
No, you're not. What you're doing wrong is you're not getting paid millions of dollars for it.
Okay.
You got to get paid millions of dollars for it. And so here's the headline for you. Trump stokes trade war as world rears in terror from tariff shock. U.S. emerges as the biggest loser in the markets from Trump's tariffs. Anybody got a razor blade I can borrow?
Mannequin pussy!
It's scary. I'm scared. Do I look scared? I look scared. Oh, I look red. I don't know what the red is.
Look a little gray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should shave, right?
I don't know about that, but you're moving your mouth like you've got chewing tobacco stuck in it.
Really?
You're starting to look like a smelly artist.
I am a smelly artist. So.
Actually, I was thinking that you're just trying to grow your own bristles for your brush.
Thank you for the consultation. But I
trying
have no
to save some money. He said, I can grow my own bristles.
Yeah, hold on a second. Sprinkle them in. There we go. Matt Napo mustache brush.
My mustache smells like a fish.
You're supposed to shower after coitus, man. Come on.
Coitus.
Well, cunnilingus in particular. If your mustache.
What have you been watching? The Big Bang Theory.
What do you mean?
All right then.
Actually, Stephen would be watching the Big Gang Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
You know, there is a Big Bang Theory spoof on Pornhub. It's pretty good, actually.
Really?
It's actually more funny than anything. But
I can't.
I think I own a copy of that on DVD. Actually,
Chick was pretty hot on that show, right?
Of course, you own a copy of that. That makes sense.
Dudes, I don't know. So there's one chick and 4 dudes, right? And they're all like geeks.
There's
well, eventually they add other women.
Number of.
I was just gonna say, is it a gangbang flick? Because there's one chick and 4 dudes, or she just fuck them one at a time.
Oh, you're talking about that version. I thought you were talking about the actual version on television.
I am.
Well, then it starts off with 4 guys and no women, and then 4 guys and a neighbor, and then 4 guys and 2 women, then 4 guys and 2 women. I know you
weren't an expert on the Big Bangishness of the story.
Well, you know, GD's always said he watches porn for the story. Now I believe him.
He said regular TV.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the porn version.
Jesus,
I've never seen that. I've never seen that version.
Oh, okay.
I would like you to drive to Indiana and beat the fuck out of a wheelchair-bound Verizon sales.
Dude, come hang out. That'd be
fun.
Not
Steven. I was talking about anyone. Just find a wheelchair-bound Verizon.
Well, I will come out. I will come out to visit as soon as I get something with if something transpires with Slaptail Nation.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
I did not know you were doing something with, or had something potential in the cooking and on the stove and in the stew for the.
Well, not me, the Reverend. Actually, I would just have to drive him because he hates driving.
Oh, I did not know that the Reverend had something in the stew on the stove and in the cooking in the oven.
Yeah,
with the Beaver Man.
Call him Auschwitz. His oven's full.
Speaking of on the stew on the oven in the food. Whoa! Big bang, bang, bang. Is that the
there? It is. Penny is so much hotter in this one.
Wow. So, yeah. Big Bang Theory. Big Bang, bang, bang. We're giving them big plugs.
Big butt plugs.
Have you ever played an affair that was like this, where there's so much food and drink that everybody is just like fucking sloshed and fucking stuffed, and you're there entertaining, and they don't even say, "Hey, would you like a nibble? Would you like a?"
I've never had that happen. I've always been offered food and drink.
And of course, when you play these corporate things, there's never a tip involved. When you play the private things, there's always a tip. You never, I don't know. And then you're driving 7,000 miles each way, and it's just time-consuming. And then the people try to rip you off. All of the fucking parking vendor tries to rip you off. Nothing is. I'm not happy.
It almost sounds like you don't enjoy this.
I definitely did not enjoy yesterday. It was a fucking stress convention. And New York City is not a fun place to go to drive in, especially. I could see if you're walking, like if you can leave your car on the Brooklyn Queens side and somehow just take a tram across and then walk, might be better. Here's the thing another thing about New York City. There's lots of things about New York City. Everywhere you go, it smells like good weed, and you can't see it. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't get any of it.
Now, is it good weed or is that just old pee?
Oh no, it's like fucking like these people are spending like corporate money on weed. This is corporate weed.
Are you like a dog that's like getting into a new area when that happens? You're like
no, I'm more like a pathetic crybaby. Where's the weed? Everybody's getting good weed. I don't have it. I just want a nibble, a hit. Come on, I'm starving over here. Throw the fucking painter man a fucking bone. I'm sorry. That's what I'm like.
So you don't like ride down the street with your window open and you go like,
well, this is the reason I had to get bailed out. But other than that, it was I guess. Here's the thing too. There's lots of things. The canvases, I didn't know this. They sent me to do a thing where I'm painting and they're doing mini canvases. The mini canvases they're doing, I mean, basically that big. Those are the big, and you got to do a complete detailed painting on something like this. So they're like holding them like this with them. And like all they really need is one brush because you can't, one tiny little brush because you can't use a big brush on something like this. And it's just like, what the fuck they got me into? And they come.
It's one of those parties.
Yeah, it's one of those parties. The canvases come individually.
Oh, wow.
What? Hold on a second.
Right.
What's the name of this canvas? Because it shouldn't take just painting him to come. That's weird.
Yeah, even Landau threw that one away. He said, "Go ahead, take it."
I was expecting something better from you, Stephen, when you started anyway.
Look, man, it's my first full week of work. I'm tired.
No, you had a rock in your eye. You had a rock in your eye and a shoe in the sun.
Yeah.
Was that a saying from the 1800s or 1900s?
No.
I know that one.
Should we bring on our guest?
Do you want to introduce Josh Dway?
Sure, why not? So the next person joining us is a comedian originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, currently residing in Denver, Colorado. He is making the big move to LA later this week. You can catch him in Denver this Friday, opening for D.L. Hughley. Please give it up for the one and only Josh Dway.
Josh, well, Steven's stealing your spot. I apologize for that. Good morning, Josh.
No, good morning, everybody, man. First and foremost, thanks for always having me, man. It's good seeing you again, Mad Dog, Ron, Glenn, man. It's a pleasure seeing you. And Steve, I feel like we met last time, or is this our first time, brother?
You might have met him in a glory hole. Have you been to Glory Hole?
I haven't been in Pennsylvania for a minute, so my Glory Hole access is limited.
Oh, they don't make your size out there?
Yeah, they just don't call them Glory Holes. They call them shitholes.
Yeah, we call them taxes, to be honest.
Big things are happening for you there, Josh, from what Ron just read or said off the top of his head. I don't know if he read it or said it, but he said it if he read it. But it sounds like some big things are happening for you. Congratulations. It sounds like your career is going this way as opposed to Stevens, who's going, whoa!
Thank you, man. I'm sure Steven's doing all right. But yeah, some exciting things happening. Definitely some new chapters. I'm grateful that even though these chapters are kind of changing, I'm still able to kind of do them with my same friends and people that's getting it going. So shout out to Ron, GD, man. Just thank y'all for, let's just keep getting this shit going.
So this time next year, you won't even remember who the fuck we are, right? You'll just be signing autographs.
It won't even take that long because he already forgot me. I'll send him a text and he'll be like, he'll be like, he doesn't even say new phone, who dis? He just says like, don't call me anymore. Don't text me anymore. I don't know who the fuck you are.
GD, I was dealing with years of your racism, and now that I choose to have some peace, now you fucking I see this.
Wait, are you saying you don't like him because he's a black guy?
No, he doesn't. Yeah, that's exactly why he doesn't like me.
Damn.
No. I say that's why GD.
To be honest, Matt, he blames me for his mother's disappearance. Okay, that's the problem.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This was not what I expected to be talking about 7:30 in the morning. But
well, it gets worse. It comes to that.
Holy shit!
So now, why are you going to LA and not New York? New York is as I described this morning, New York is a place. It's like fucking paradise. It's a place you want to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what you made it sound like. You made it sound like paradise.
Nah, New York is cool, man. It's booming. Trust me. Again, like the convenience is undefeated, but the way I try to describe like finding your place in comedy is like you guys like Pokemon. I know that's weird, but
hell yeah.
All right, so you know how like you got
things you asked to. Does he like to poke a man?
No. No, Pokemon is different than Pokemon. I promise.
All right, fine.
They both involve balls, though. Anyway,
you're interrupting Josh. That's a very rude of you. Don't ever interrupt Josh.
That was a good play, man. But ultimately, I'll just describe it like finding your scene or your city that you want to be at is like finding your Pokemon. Like a grass type, fire type. You just align with what you align with.
Yeah. So you're going out there. Did somebody say come move out to LA? We have opportunities for you, or you just took it upon yourself to say, you know what, this fucking Pennsylvania shit ain't working out. Where can I go? And then you just said put a pin on the map. Of course, the Comedy Store. That's where I could go.
It was a combination of like almost every factor, but they all led down to the same path. So it started with like promises that I made. We're gonna see if promises are kept. And then ultimately, there was like that moment where you like, all right, maybe I should just fucking stay where I'm at because, I wish this was a little bit more guaranteed. But either way, you got to go out there,
Yeah, I went out there. I was describing this to my wife when I went out there. Now, granted, this is a long time ago. This was before California was actually a state. But I went out there with a friend, and we got a hotel room. We were living in a hotel room, but the rent was $25 a week, split in two, $12.50 a week.
Oh,
and we had a tough time making the rent every week. Every week we struggled to make that $12.50.
$12.50.
I know. Can you imagine living for $12.50 rent every week? That
would be crazy, guys. Josh, good luck to you, buddy. I know you have big things coming. Good luck to you. I'll see you guys next time.
Coming again.
Is that a glory hole joke?
No coming joke. Now get out, Steven.
Thank you. Come again.
Steven, get out of my room. All right. Yeah. So now making the big money, you're gonna go out there. You're getting rich in comedy, right? Comedy is the way to it's the way to like silver linings and all that kind of big money. You got bank accounts in every bank in Geneva.
I mean, the way it's looking like our bank's gonna be in Greenland.
Well, Well, because we were talking about it the other day about I don't know if it's like there's a comedy depression or something, but the clubs aren't paying what they used to. And I've talked to a lot of some pretty significant headliners out there who were used to making. I don't want to say but we're talking in the tens of thousands, and now it's down to less than 5,000 for headliners and stuff. So it seems like the more people get into it, the more. And I'm not going to put cause and effect on this, but it just seems like comedy clubs are just getting stingier. What's your take on this?
I mean, comedy clubs always like sucked in the pay department, in my honest opinion. But I feel like if you're an East Coast like comic, there should be no like complaint necessarily about pay, because the advantage that East Coast comics have, especially in New York City, even though it's like $25 a spot, it's like 70 comedy clubs on one strip. So you get past that enough clubs, do a spot, you walking home at the end of the night anywhere between $100 to $300, and also you got neighboring states to drive to.
Yeah. That drives me crazy when you see it, because there's too many on the show. Like 3 is good, 5 is tolerable, 7 is just fucking way too many people. Stop. 100%. Somebody at some point, just for the sake of the business, you have to say sorry. With the bill is full, we can't give you 3 minutes or whatever. Everybody wants stage time. People doing favors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But and also it gets to be predatory, right? Because they pay the features $150 or something.
Yeah, like $150.
Yeah,
going rate.
And then these people who are these 7 people, they're not all getting that $150. Some of them are getting a handshake. So it's just not good for the industry. I don't know.
No, it's not a handshake. It's an opportunity.
Right.
An opportunity for a handshake, or is it consulting? Oh, we're going to consult them about an opportunity for a handshake. Yeah. So what's now? Because you're a young man still. Are you optimistic for the comedy? Obviously, you're going to LA. You got some, but what I just described there is not a very optimistic scene for the industry of comedy. It seems like it's going on a downhill trend, where for years it was going on an uphill trend, and people were making more money.
But that's the best way to build when the ground, when everything's demolished. Because
buy the dip. Are you telling me to buy the dip?
I'm saying, man, you should definitely buy in low right now, because you gotta think about it. They just got hit with the fires. Hollywood is obviously going through. They just had a writer's strike. Like, I think it's the time for a revival.
All right. Well, look at you, you fucking optimist, you.
Well, I'm not sure if any of you seen, but like a day or two ago, Ted Sarandis, the Netflix CEO, was giving a speech, and in that speech, he declared movie theaters dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? Not just in regionally, not just the big chains either. I've seen some people I know recently, lots of them saying, I'm in a movie theater, gigantic movie theater. There's 2 people here, and I'm one of them.
But I see those posts, and I don't know what time of day they're doing them, because like I can go, because I'm retired, I can go in the middle of the day, and I will be the only person in the movie theater, and I will post a picture. I'm getting a private showing of this Marvel movie, because it's the middle of the day.
You're very articulate for a retired person.
Here's what he said. He said nearly every live thing has come back to streaming. Sarandis said Broadway's breaking records right now, sporting events, concerts, all those things that we couldn't do during COVID are back and bigger than ever. At the same time, the executive said the box office is down nearly 50% from before the pandemic, with the 2025 box office nearly down 8% through the first 3 months of the year. So the trend is not reversing. You got to look at that and say, what is the consumer trying to tell you?
May I chime in? This is because I love going to movies. I like the crowd experience, but they're not making stuff that makes me want to leave my home to go see it.
Yeah,
and then if that's the case, I will wait until it comes on some streaming service.
It's just what that's weird. So it's something you want to see, but you don't want to leave your home for it. Because I'm
No,
thinking they
if
went
it's
out.
okay
Hold on, let me finish the thought, and then you can just
no, I'm not gonna let you
yeah.
finish. No, sir, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let me finish it.
No, you can
They
finish.
went out of their way to make it a nicer experience, like couches and fucking recliners and whatever, to make it feel more home and more comfortable. I thought that they were thinking that was the reason people weren't going. You just think the movies themselves are the reason people.
I'm just saying for me, for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but usually when I do speak, it is for everybody else. But I shouldn't.
What the fuck?
So
You sound like a consultant to me.
but I don't mind. Look, I don't mind spending a little bit of extra money for something if it's worth it. I don't mind like I'll buy American first, but before I buy foreign, I don't mind spending extra money. Even if I have to save up for that experience, it's the experience I want.
Right, we get it. But you said they don't make movies that make you would want to leave home or something.
Want to leave my house to see it. Yes,
right.
It's not the chairs. Look, I grew up with when they would used to sit in other people's laps. It doesn't matter. It's the experience I go for. If the movie is worth it.
You want to tell us the story? You want to get on the couch and tell us about this lap thing you had?
You were there. Why should I? No, you tell the story. You tell it better. No.
I will run laps around your lap story.
Oh, GD, why you got this magazine as your background?
Is it Southern Earning? No, Southern Living.
Oh my god.
Oh, it says earn. He's earned the right to do that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was like, did you open up a magazine company? Is this marketing?
But I was getting to GD now, and we're here to talk to Josh, but you seem more talkable. So what makes a movie make you want to leave the house? Is it because they're not playing trailers? And where do you fucking get enticed to see these movies? The only place that you get enticed is in the movie theater when they show these fucking cinematic trailers that you said.
No, I've been I've been around enough movies and around enough people who make movies that when I see a trailer, I know whether or not I want to see the rest of the movie. If they do the trailer right. Okay, if you see a trailer that they can't decide in the trailer if it's a comedy, an action movie, a drama, or a horror flick, they can't decide in the trailer, so they just throw everything. I'm not leaving my house for it. I'll wait.
Wow.
If the trailer sucks, I'm gonna wait. If if it's like action, good action, I want to see good action on a big screen with good big sound, not like the rinky-dink speakers I have at my house.
What was the
Then
last
I'll watch
movie you watched?
Gone with the Wind. No,
like in theaters, really, just so I get an idea of what you consider good.
To be honest, it may have been a Marvel movie. To be honest, it may have been a Marvel movie.
Tick tock, motherfucker!
I can
but
tell
it wasn't the Captain America one.
I can tell you with my last movie, and maybe it's because I don't go to a lot of movies, but it was one of these things where it was one of these major, gigantic, fancy doodle AMAX things, and there were 7 people in the thing, and I was one of them. And my wife made me go to see this thing. It was called "Am I a Racist?" Am I racist?
Oh shit!
And the answer was clearly yes. So, but it was not a good experience, and so, but I didn't even know that I don't know how she found. Obviously, she's tied into this right wing media sphere where they just kind of throw that shit at you. But it was a terrible movie. But I did get to see the Bob Dylan, the Bob Dylan movie that was out, the trailer for that, and I said, I got to go see that. And here I am months later, I still have not seen that.
Oh man, he was nominated for a few awards for that, right?
Yeah, I know. I got to see that.
To speak to GD's point, he's right that people. The other reason people aren't coming out to movies is for that reason. The stories just aren't compelling anymore, and it's these huge corporations, and they just make cookie cutter like superhero movies and that bullshit. And really, people like in the indie scene right now, there is this kind of a strong current again of like really character driven stories, which are good because storytelling is good, and you need the big movies. But still noticeably absent is fucking comedies. No one has really made a standout comedy movie in years, honestly.
Why don't we do it?
Let's do it right now. We just got to write it, produce it.
Not right here, not right now. But yeah, no, you know what? We know enough people that are talented and funny. We should be able to do a good comedy on the cheap.
Just out of curiosity, Matt, which one do I fall into? Am I talented or funny? I'm just curious.
You fall into the token black consultant.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Everybody needs one.
Hey, you know, it's crazy. He only do work for the KKK. Ain't that fucked up?
Wow. I guess it's a little fucked up, but you never know. Whatever. You never know, because I'm seeing more and more black people against black people who hate black people. I'm seeing it everywhere, and it's like.
Well, they have always been there. We used to call them house niggers, but we got different names for them now.
Oh shit!
You can't say house on this program, dude.
I'm sorry. Abode dwelling niggers.
Everybody, let's just say goodbye to our careers. Because after this podcast.
Oh, see, Josh, I should have told you. I don't have a career to lose. You're the one taking all the risk.
I'm taking hella hits right now.
That's the benefit of being a loser. Is you've already lost. You can't continue to lose forever.
I have nothing to lose, Josh. You're the one taking all the risk.
Well, let's come back to this movie thing, because I want because Laurie Kilmartin, who's a very successful comedian, was a head writer for Conan and is very successful stand-up herself. She was talking about people staying home because of the economy, and she said comedy clubs are going to get. She was talking about these tariff things. I don't know if they're really going to affect this, but she said people are going to stay home more than that. We're going to see fewer and fewer people at comedy clubs. Is it for the same reason that? Well, I don't know, oversaturated, but it doesn't seem like the quality is there in comedy, numbers wise, because there's so many fucking comedians in it. It seems. First of all, do you agree with that point that people are staying home and not going to comedy clubs as much?
Yeah, but I think it's like it's also like the quality of movies. I do see that point, but I think movie theaters kind of like got to accept we're not going to make the money that we were used to making in the early 2000s, you know? So we could kind of pull the prices back on tickets, foods. It costs like $30 for some popcorn.
Wow, I did not know that.
That's cheap for popcorn.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems like fucking.
No, those are just the kernels. You have to pop it yourself.
Each corn.
Yeah, those are unpopped kernels for $3. You have to pop it yourself.
$3,000.
Take a little lighter.
Turn your own butter to put it on.
Yes, get a little lighter and pop each kernel as you're ready to put it in your mouth.
You know, the only reason I feel that they do not have self-serve in a movie theater because fucking people are animals. Because if you go into a movie theater, they're spilling shit and leaving shit everywhere. And I'm sure movie theaters would love to have people just scoop out their own popcorn. But people are nasty ass motherfuckers, and you can't do that.
Yeah, see, I think part of the reason why they switched to like vinyl seats as opposed to the cloth ones is because the vinyl is easier to clean. You know, you just hose it down and let it dry. You know,
my favorite when you're in an old school movie theater where the floor is just slanted is when someone's sitting in the back and you hear their soda drop and you hear it hits the floor. Then you hear someone go "fuck" and it's just
rolling down.
There was a set in that Amex that I was in. There was a self-serve bar. With the dispenser, you get your cup. It's kind of like a soda machine for like the pina coladas, the banana daiquiris, or whatever. First of all, my last time before this Amex thing, you weren't supposed to have liquor, and there were no bars in movie theaters. And now the self-serve bars, you put your debit card in, you fucking
that $40 ticket that you bought.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't even know what you pay because you just stick your card in. You don't fucking automatic.
So it's like Vegas. It's like Vegas getting into those little cards. You put like $50 on the card. You get the card. You don't know how much the games cost, how much you've lost, how much you won.
All that comes up on the screen is when you scan it. It's like, oh, you can afford this. Thank you.
Yeah, look, I accepted that going to the movie is going to be like, it's going to be some real fucking in the bank account. So I feel better though, because I always try to go to like a local movie theater. Like around here, we got it's called the Landmark Theater. It's about to turn 100 years old. And, same ridiculous prices, but at least, it's going to a community staple.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because in the Baltimore area, we used to have the Charles. Well, we still have the Charles Theater and the Senator Theater, and they were independents. And you know, you went there for that experience. Also, they weren't commercial. I mean,
Right.
you might see something that was critically acclaimed, but it was an artist movie.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then they're the kind of movies that your artist friends will tell you have to see.
The good old days. Well, this is another thing they bring to the table. The good old days.
Well, the Senator and the Charles, as far as I know, are still there. I just haven't been there for a while.
What is Slaptail saying? I can't read this. Got to go with like A4 or smaller studios.
Yeah, he's talking about A24 or smaller studios. So Heretic, good plot line, fairly clever movie. Novocaine was an action movie and funny.
Novocaine. I never heard of it.
Yeah, that one just recently.
Ron, you were in the movie and didn't tell us?
Nope.
No. Do you guys, are you concerned? I mean, about because this panic, the headlines got me thinking like my paint parties, my little one-man show things are going to dry up. Nobody's going to be spending money on that. You don't panic like I do when you hear this stuff in the news about the.
Well, if they don't want to leave the house and they want to be entertained, the paint party may be like the next step for something different and unique. Because people, like I said, people want to get together. They want to see their friends. They want to hang out. They want to have fun. They also want to have an experience that they can talk about for the next few times that they go to work and hang out at the water cooler or whatever. Yeah. If they still make water coolers. It's been a while since I've actually had a job.
Yeah. I think when it comes to comedy right now, the clubs are okay because the clubs can still pull in, AAA talent because there's still, comics still out there. The real problem, I think, especially when you factor in economy, is when you get to like a regional comedy scene. And if you're a local and indie producer, because the one thing you fight as an indie producer, you're fighting other people that are putting on shows. And a lot of those shows are not quality shows. Yeah. They have like a very that's
what I'm talking about
lineup, and they're charging like a $25 ticket fee. It's like, no way, you can't.
Yeah. $25 is cheap here too. You know what? Do get $25 at bar shows here.
I would feel like in our area, me personally, I would feel like shit if I produced the show. I was charging $25 a ticket, and I knew my lineup was like subpar.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. But my mom told me something when I was a young man that might have been wrong. But it stuck with me. She always said, because she grew up during the Great Depression, and she said the down economic times are great for entertainment because people want a release. And she said, for people in the arts, that's the time to prosper. They made great movies during the Depression. The comedy was big, vaudeville, whatever was big during the Depression. So there's that kind of, well, if things go bad, maybe people will be starved and spend their money rather than eat.
But that was a slightly different time. That back then you could say things. You could. If you do vaudeville today and try to do the same type of material then as you do now, you probably would be what they call canceled or something, or they wouldn't even let you on the street. So
I did preface it by saying I think she could have been wrong, but I believed it. That was the problem, I think.
Well, I mean, because mom alert. My mother used to say that when invest in liquor stores, because when times are good, people buy liquor, and when times are bad, they buy more liquor. So
no. When times are good, they buy liquor. When times are bad, they buy weed.
Ain't that the truth now?
Well, yeah, the company that I used to work for, Frito-Lay, when the economy back in the day, when the economy would tank, that was great for a company like Frito-Lay because people are staying home, they're buying chips, and they're eating your product.
And
they're eating their feelings too.
Instead of steak, they would get a bag of Fritos.
Yes. But now the game has changed because chips are so fucking expensive now.
Right.
That people do not buy potato chips anymore. Now
fucking $10 for a fucking regular $10 for a bag of potato chips.
And it's like 75% air at that.
Yep.
That's insane.
And I was just listening to Damon Wayans was on Club Shay, and he grew up in the 60s, and they had 11 people in their household. And he was talking about his mom would feed all of them for fucking $10 a week. $10 fucking dollars a week. She
was breastfeeding them.
That's 11. Yeah, that's 11 fucking people.
Big kids.
You don't want to take sloppy 11s on that though.
That's how. Listen, going back to my people. That's how the Wops, the Guineas, the Dagos. That's how they got hooked on pasta, because it was very cheap and you could feed a lot of people off of pennies. Dog catcher. I watched Novocaine when they announced the sequel, Super Novocaine, The Numbing Down of the Galaxy. Novocaine. I just feel like there's a Kurt Cobain Novocaine thing in there, right? Was there a Novocaine? Lithium? I don't know what it was.
Yeah, Lithium was a song, and Novocaine was a Nirvana song as well.
All right, I got it right. What do I win? I'm a consultant.
Nothing. Nothing.
So I think wrapping this kind of economic thing idea up, you guys are like, just roll with it. You're not concerned about decline in the industry due to oversaturation.
I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. It's just that it's like I was telling a friend of mine. I do have a friend. I'm just not going to say his name and embarrass him. But I know where I'm standing, and I feel good about where I'm standing. I have no idea where to go from here, though.
Aren't you sitting?
This is a metaphor.
Oh,
and I know what I'm metaphor.
Even with the oversaturation, I honestly think one of the worst things right now, and we've mentioned it on this show, is that everyone releases a special.
Right.
And so what is really a special anymore?
Stop calling them specials. Just call them normals.
Okay.
Normals. Yeah, special should be special. A special should be like the dry bar stuff. And this is why I was talking to Abby about this. Dry bar, and she is fully on the same page as what they do. They take care of their artists. They go out of their way to not just choose whoever approaches them, but to kind of strategize who we want here, and then treat them, I don't want to say like gold, but they treat them very nice. They produce the show for them. They fly them out there. They hire a makeup artist and a set designer and put you up in good, accommodations and all that stuff. That's a class operation. And she wants to do that there. But yeah, there's so many people who don't now just slapping shows together. Yeah, we got a microphone, we got a light, one light, we got a palette as a stage. This is the show, and we got four different people nobody ever heard of, and no real headline and no name attached to it. And it's like a mess. It's like, why am I paying money for this? I could sit home and smoke weed with my friends and get the same amount of laughter out of it for what it costs to smoke that one big fucking pre-roll or whatever. So now when do you leave, Josh? Are you heading to LA today? You're leaving today, right after the show?
I leave tomorrow morning, actually.
Driving?
Well, I gotta still do one last gig at the Improv, but yeah, I'll leave like tomorrow. I'm out the house tomorrow morning.
So you'll never see Ron Kane again. This is sad for you, right?
Man, that's impossible, man. I gotta see Ron, man.
Well, he doesn't make.
That's where he gets his drugs.
I've known Ron for 18 years now. He's been doing this program 18 years, and never once heard him say, "I'm going to LA." Never once. He's gone to Texas. I think he's gone to New Mexico a couple of times, or at least once. I never heard him say LA. So
it's on my list to get there. I've been as far west as Vegas. I'll get there.
Oh yeah, man.
Vegas.
Yeah, I'll look you up when I'm out there, probably next year, Josh. But I know you won't return my calls, but I'll at least let you know I'm in LA, so you know that you can avoid me.
Hey, GD, at this point, it's just a career move, man. Like, you just dropped
Not
a hard
taking his phone
ER.
calls, definitely. Definitely not taking his phone calls is the best career advice I would give.
Yeah, GD, this low key your last time on the pod, but it was a pleasure. We needed the ER to be dropped for the last time, so.
Wait till you get yourself on the cover of Southern Living magazine.
Yeah, GD, this is not a good look. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
You know, Robert Taylor has made a. I don't know if he's made a move, but he's sure in California a lot. He used to be on this program a lot. He got scared away when GD he said, "We got a black guy on the show. I'm out of here." But
he still doesn't talk to me. I encountered him the other night, and he still doesn't talk to me.
He stopped talking to me too, and it's all because of you. I'm telling you, he's not a race. At least the vibe I got from him, from knowing him for a year, as he did the show, was he's not a racist guy. He's not, but you seem to have triggered, I don't know, his old Southern memories in him. Let's just say that the South Carolina in him came out when you came around, and he doesn't talk to me anymore because of you. I'm just
GD's the only black person. When black people hear that a white person hate him, we don't think it's racism. We just like, you just met GD. Just like GD the person. That's what.
I got a picture of GD's reboot of The Lord of the Rings where he plays Gandalf. It's a different take on it, but you can see him. He's wearing the black robe here.
And is that Kanye he's with?
That is
Kanye, right?
Yeah.
Ah, good for GD. It's about time he. Wait a minute. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. Well, good for GD anyway. It's about time, because I know he's been consulting and it hasn't worked out for him all that well.
Well, that's true, but I'm consulting with people who work with talent, not perform miracles. So that's why they can't help me. They say the same thing. Says you have nothing for us to work with.
Really?
Stop calling. Yeah.
Nothing to work with.
Nothing to work with.
What do they mean by that?
Yeah,
like,
I think they mean I have no talent and I have no prospects of ever developing talent.
Wow, that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. It hurt. It's got to hurt, right?
No, it doesn't hurt. I feel that means they at least they paid attention. You know, how many
find out you have no talent?
Yeah, I mean, how many times? I mean, Ron will tell you this. You send out letter after letter after letter, and they ignore you, and it's really terrible to be ignored. So at least I know they paid attention.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how they ignore you, though. Like, it sounds like they kind of slamming the door, bro. Like, it's not a soft letdown. If a motherfucker
Josh, no means no.
Now we know why Josh has to keep moving. It's not a career move. It's a probation move.
This is why Stephen had to get a regular job, is because he just couldn't understand that, especially from young children, that no means no. Now, do you got a representation out there in LA? Are you going to be man in charge of his own destiny on your own, going it alone, a brave soldier?
I mean, Ron Kane's like my manager, you know, so that's like all we need.
He doesn't have any LA contacts, though, does he? Does Ron have any LA contacts that I don't know about? Ron, do you have?
I do know a few comics out there.
Comics?
And some other people as well.
Movie producers. We want Josh to be in the next hit comedy.
I don't know any producers, but yeah.
Hey, but look at it like this, man. My friend, he just dropped a movie, Popeye Seller Man. He was talking about like advice with managers and agencies that you get out there. And the reason why it's a 20% split is because still the artist is supposed to do 80% of the work, you know, because they only could get you so far, you know. So and just know I'll be doing my part too to make sure that I'm getting my connects. And you know, Ron has been more than like a saint throughout this process, and you know, I got full faith we'll get there. You know, it's a partnership.
Why is it? What do
you are the only person on the planet who will ever say Ron's been a saint. I'm gonna tell you right now. The closest thing that people say about Ron and saint is like you take off that S and you replace it with a T.
Saint of cum eating.
Yeah, yeah. Ron is the patron saint of taints. That's
But what has he got on you? What is it?
He literally got nothing. I'm telling you right now, I know a different Ron, but I can't blame him. What you gonna do? You got GD with a Southern Living magazine dropping a hard ER before 8 o'clock in the morning. All right. Yeah, Steven up there, shout out to Steven, but Steven that checked out.
The E isn't hard. And neither is he. All right. I don't know.
Ron's trying his best to keep up, man. That's what it is. And GD, yeah.
I just think I don't know. Ron has a thing for young black men. He's got a little. I don't know.
So you saying I aged out, Matt? I aged out of the program.
When one black guy ages out, white guy is there to replace him.
Wow.
The blue job.
Those are the black jobs that Trump was talking about.
Got to change the name of the program to Racism with the Dog. Yeah. So, but any, I know most people go out to LA and they're thinking beyond, and most comedians who go out to LA are thinking beyond the comedy club thing. Like, this is where the movies are made. I don't know if that's absolutely so true. And we already talked about they're not making comedies, but so many comedians in the back of their mind, I'm more than a comedian. I'm an actor. LA is the place for me. Is that, are you allowing yourself to have those thoughts?
I think that's just a natural evolution with the process. But, right now it's just more about creating and just being seen, in a way that I feel like I could be seen and keep my integrity, so.
Keeping your integrity. Well, you're in the wrong business for that.
I'm believing that you lose your integrity, you lost it all, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know, man.
Have you considered truck driving school? Because that's a good. I don't know about integrity behind the wheel. Whatever. Maybe I'm wrong.
Truck drivers are the worst. Where you think lot lizards didn't just pop up because it wasn't a market for it now?
Yeah, most serial killers are truck drivers. At least most uncaught successful serial killers are truck drivers.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they can keep on moving, and get hit state to state to state to state.
You could say the same thing about comedians, though, couldn't you? They keep moving.
Comedians can't afford to kill anybody and get rid of the body. Truck drivers are making good money. They have, a vehicle where they can get, transport a body. Comedians can barely get rides for themselves to their next gig. How are they going to transport a body?
I think it's time we retire this piece.
Comedians who are funnier than Segura.
Get out of town. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we are with a comedian who is funnier than Segura, Josh DeWay. But Tom, I brought him up because he's got this theory that Garth Brooks is a serial killer. Everywhere Garth Brooks tours is where they're finding bodies and stuff. So it wouldn't be out of, you don't need a big budget. Comedy afford to be a serial killer. Come on, what do you afford? Bury a body? Sometimes they just throw it off the hill, right?
Yeah, you see the comments of Garth Brooks posts where they be like, "Where's the bodies, Garth?"
He's not happy about that, but at least I don't know. He's not doing what I do to Steven.
Wow, what you gonna do?
What I do to Steven? Well, what everybody does to Steven.
No, Matt accuses Steven of the worst crime there is. He calls him a joke thief.
You joke thief, yeah. Joke thief and pedophile is the most offensive thing that I call.
Yeah, but joke thief is worse.
Well,
because you can never get a job again if you're a joke thief. But if you're a pedophile, you can work in a
Don't say that word on this program.
But so if you're in the Musk administration, you can get a job if you're a pedophile.
No, that word you just said again. The J word.
Oh.
We don't.
Then how do you ask for a reach around or a how do you collate?
Consulting.
You can't say
consulting.
Oh, consulting. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
I would like a consultant position, not the J word. But if anybody's hiring consultants, I'm your guy. I can consult all day long. I'm here to consult. Right now we're consulting Josh DeWay on his skyrocketing career. Although maybe this might put a little damper on it. His appearance here today will kind of stunt his skyrocket for a minute.
Josh, you want to tell people how they can follow you on social media while we got you here?
Right. That's right. Tell them.
You could literally just find me at Josh DeWay. My name, last name spelling is DWEH, but it's also on the screen just in case, because I know it's not that common. But yeah, all platforms, Josh DeWay. I have a website, laughsondeway.com. You keep up to date with tours, podcast episodes, things like that, and even contact me. So definitely, just go ahead, check those things out, and yeah, we're gonna have a big push coming up here soon. So.
All right, very cool. Are you doing a special?
That's gonna be in the works, to be honest, but no time soon, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to be honest. You could lie on this program. GD does it all the time.
What's the biggest lie GD ever told?
I can't tell you. I'm not going to repeat it. Well, first of all, I don't know if you know this about GD, but he was formerly a adult entertainer. I don't know, porn star.
You can say stripper, although I prefer dancer.
Yeah. Now he was also a genius artist, martial artist, boxer, basketball player. You name it. This man, there is nothing he hasn't been the best at.
Succeeding. I have not been the best at succeeding.
Oh. So me, I'm just a painter. I'm just a painter guy.
Okay, now, Matt, this is projection. Matt has done just about every job under the face of the sun.
Got fired at every job under the face of the sun for sucking.
Which is why he knows he doesn't want another job, because he's done them all.
I just said that. Did I say that word on this program?
No, I said that's why you say that's why you don't like that word. You don't want another job because you've done them all.
What was the last job you had, Matt?
I was a marketing director for a robotics company, a company that made for the most part, robotic packaging machines, but they were building all sorts of robots to take robot comedians. They were actually.
Matt also used to be a courier for the CIA, which is how they got crack into the neighborhoods.
Oh my God!
If I was bringing crack around, it wasn't for the CIA. It was for the bass player in the band.
How did you do that?
Well, they gave me a van, and I was driving it all over the country with these small packages. But we were also using their van to plan out a tour. Basically Black Ops. And when I say Black Ops, it was all white.
There were no blacks in the van.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There were no black guys in the Black Ops, but it was a white ops in a black van. Anyway, well, why am I talking about that?
Because GD always find a way.
No, you're the way. You're the way. Come on. You're the way.
But coming back to my insecurities, I got a thing last night. Tony Miller. You know Tony Miller.
Yeah, Tony Miller.
Yeah. He runs a dinner theater thing. Do you know this about him? I don't know if you know this about Tony.
Yeah. He works with Tony Walker in it.
Knock 'em Dead comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's dinner theater shows. And I have done some shows with them in the past, and I sucked at them. I know I sucked because I'm not an actor. I'm not good at anything. But so he offered me a job last night, and I said, I'm scared, but if you need me, I'll be there. He said, what are you scared of? It's sucking.
Mm-hmm. And also, you don't hear well, so you don't hear the other people's lines. So,
yeah, or remember the script very well. So
so they're kind of
script notes the whole time. Like, oh, that's right. Yes.
And plus, you're unavailable emotionally, so you couldn't do that.
Damn.
Is this still about that time when I wouldn't hold you?
Yep.
You gotta let that go. Like I let you go that night.
Mannequin pussy.
All right, Josh, we'll let you go. Thank you for being here, man. I'll put the link to your website in the description. I don't know how I missed that this morning, and GD picked up on it because generally he doesn't care about anybody. Laughs with Josh. Laughs and away. Laughs and away. .com. There it is, people. It's not scrolling for some reason because it's not scrollable, you dope. That's why. Anyway, thanks for being here, man. Good luck. And don't be a stranger as you get to LA and you become a big star and you dump Ron Kane and get a real manager and like real representation, and your arc just keeps going up. Don't forget me and GD. Ron will be back.
He'll forget me before he's out of the green room here today.
All right.
Yeah, I will never forget you and Ron, man. I got you guys. Nah, I appreciate the opportunity, man. It was really honestly good seeing everybody.
All the Frito-Lays you can eat, buddy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy your success. I'll be dead, but have a great ride out there.
Yeah, man.
Just away. What happened here?
Matt, you haven't lost your touch. You still cut people. You still cut the guests off without saying goodbye.
I know.
You haven't lost your touch.
It's almost like I do it on purpose, right? But not. I think I'll play news. I know we all hate the news. You notice the news started off, the news in 60 this morning started out with Trump might do. It's like this happened yesterday, dude. You gotta, it's not even day old news now. It's like 2-day old news. Like he's gonna announce new tariffs again today on top of yesterday. Yeah. But whatever. Newscast 2.
In a significant legal development, a federal judge has blocked President Trump's effort to end temporary protected status for up to 350,000 Venezuelans.
The ruling ensures continued protection for these individuals residing in the United States. The judge emphasized the potential hardships that could arise from terminating TPS, highlighting the ongoing instability in Venezuela. Advocacy groups have praised the decision, viewing it as a safeguard for vulnerable communities. Kyle Norris reporting.
Marine Le Pen, leader of France's far-right National Rally Party, has been convicted of embezzling European Parliament funds to pay her party's workers.
She received a 5-year ban from public office, effectively barring her from the 2027 presidential election. This ruling marks a significant shift in French politics, as Le Pen was a leading candidate. The decision raises uncertainty about the future of the National Rally and the broader far-right movement in France. Benjamin Wright, reporting.
Global financial markets are on edge as President Donald Trump prepares to announce new trade tariffs on America's trading partners. Lawrence Keller with the latest.
Speculation suggests the U.S. may impose around 20% tariffs on most imports, potentially triggering retaliatory measures from countries like Canada, the EU, China, Japan, and Korea. A recent report warns that such tariffs, if met with reciprocal actions, could inflict a $1.4 trillion hit to the global economy, reminiscent of the 1930s trade wars during the Great Depression. Goldman Sachs has already reduced its forecast for UK growth due to anticipated economic fallout.
This is the latest news headlines.
A dispute in an air traffic control room led to the arrest of an individual following a physical altercation.
The incident has raised concerns about safety and professionalism within critical aviation operations. Authorities are conducting a thorough investigation to understand the circumstances and prevent future occurrences. The Federal Aviation Administration has reiterated its commitment to maintaining strict standards in air traffic control environments. Jim Kender reporting.
Crater Lake National Park, home to the deepest lake in the United States, will close for 2 years to allow for extensive ecological restoration.
The National Park Service aims to address environmental concerns and improve visitor facilities during this period. Officials acknowledge the inconvenience to tourists, but emphasize the long-term benefits for the park's ecosystem and future visitors. Alternative recreational opportunities are being suggested in nearby areas. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Attorney General Pam Bondi directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, who is accused of the murder of CEO Brian Thompson.
This decision underscores the administration's commitment to pursuing capital punishment in severe cases. Mangione's trial is anticipated to draw significant attention, given the high-profile nature of the victim and the circumstances surrounding the case. Legal experts predict a complex and closely watched judicial process. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
AI WAP. We need an AI WAP. Mangione. Slaptail says, and Slaptail will be here tomorrow, better known as John Beaver. Or Beaver? Is it Beavers or Beaver? Anyway, he says, tell him, Ron, he's addressing you, Ron. Tell him to zip down to San Diego. Lots of great clubs there. 2 or 3, in 2 to 3 Block area. I thought I'm reading black area. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
We've
for
already
sure.
been racist enough without your help. Thank you. But block area, not black area.
Oh yeah, and the dog catcher also put in the comments about Novocaine and mentioned the Eels. There's a band called the Eels that had a song called Novocaine for the Soul. And yeah, there is a song by the Eels I love called "Beautiful Day," which is a fucking great song because it's about I think the song is about a guy just bad things happening and a mass shooting, and the chorus of the song is "Goddamn right, it's a beautiful day."
Yeah, love it. I got to listen to it today. But Slaptail's right about San Diego. This is where I mentioned Robert Taylor. He's all over the San Diego area. Seems like if there aren't a lot of areas where you can say that where comedy is truly, pretty hot right now. San Diego area is definitely one of them. At least I'm seeing a lot of people I know working steady in that Orange County to San Diego area rather than the LA area and up north. It used to be San Francisco was very big, and then Portland had a thriving. I guess Portland still has a thriving scene, but not like it was. I don't know. So San Diego, man.
Yeah, Josh we had Josh in Portland a few months ago, and different city, but he said it wasn't bad because he performed at Kelly's Olympian in Portland.
Just looking at Josh's tour dates now. Denver, Colorado in September, and then back again in early October. He's like going to be in Denver a lot. He's going to be up in Portland in October, and back to Pittsburgh in November, which is bad. If you go to LA in the summer, you don't want to go back to Pittsburgh in the winter. But whatever. And then Scottsdale, back to the Southwest, Scottsdale, PA, Albuquerque, November 15th, where we have, believe it or not, Albuquerque is one of the hot spots for listeners for this program. We got a lot of people in Albuquerque, and then Santa Fe the very next day. So 11/15 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, November 15th, and then November 16th up in Santa Fe, which is a much more total different vibe than Albuquerque. It's not that far, but it's more of an artsy community up there in Santa Fe. So check out Josh's website and follow him if you're out in those program at that area. Mark it on your calendar now, November 15th and 16th.
Yeah, and if you're from Albuquerque, let us know what do you think. And if you're a big fan of comedy, let us know what you think about Dry Heat Comedy Club. Apparently, they're moving to New York. They're closing up the Albuquerque location to move to New York, which I think is a little odd, but yeah,
quite odd. No, it's the other way around. People move from New York, not to New York. You get it? All right. Get your shit straight and stay in Albuquerque, Dry Heat. We don't need any dry heat up here. We like wet heat, especially in the summertime. We're full of wet heat. They're not going to adjust well, these dry heat people.
Nope.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. 2
weeks? What's 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, everything you're like, I'm going to do this, and we're like 2 weeks.
Oh,
for
yeah.
everything.
2 weeks? You sound like a parakeet.
Yeah. You guys are performing this week at all? Yeah.
I am off this weekend because it's my wife's birthday weekend, so I made sure not to schedule anything for this weekend.
Wow. Everybody it used to be everybody got a birthday. Now everybody gets a birthday weekend. Some people get a birthday week. I know quite a few people who have a birthday month. It's like it's getting out of hand here.
Well, I do that because a lot of times on the weekends I am working, like doing comedy and stuff. So I'm not going to have any shows. I can't.
All right.
It's just bad for my personal business if I don't give her a break occasionally. But needless to say, I may show up at a mic this weekend, but that's another story.
So how's the pool thing go? Because the last we talked about the pool, she led her team to like a super duper championship and won like $1 million purse. So what's happened since then?
So she goes to, well, I'm on that team too, next weekend, which is my show at Laughing Stock Comedy Club. Everybody get your tickets. Yeah, that's next Saturday, that tournament for 9-ball. Then I think in May, she's got to go back there to participate in another tournament for 8-ball. So she's got 2 chances to move forward to possibly Las Vegas.
I have a pool question for you, Ron. In 9-ball, they're actually just using the first 9 balls, right? 1 through 9. In 8-ball, they're using all 15 balls.
Yeah. Yep.
Why is 8-ball 15 balls and 9-ball 9 balls?
Well, in 8-ball, it's either you're either stripes or solids. Then you have to hit the 8-ball last.
You're just trying to be a troublemaker. Can't you just smell a troublemaker on
No,
him?
it's just the name just seems contrary because I understand.
That's where troublemaker comes in. They get all hung up on these names and then they make trouble. That's why.
No, I used to play pool, and it occurred to me because when I was growing up, we only knew 8-ball. Okay, and that was all 15 balls. And then I got some white friends, and they introduced me to 9-ball, and that's when I started questioning these things.
And there's also another game called 10-ball.
What? Now, honestly, I've never heard of that. How new is that?
That one is fairly new from what I understand. But yeah, it's just like 9-ball, except you use 10 balls.
I grew up with a lot of guys we used to call 1-ball because they lost their ball. So,
yeah. Then there's also that which some people play, even though this is a very bisexual country, they play straight pool, which is you just hit the balls in. That's it.
Let me just come back because I know you've said this very, very many times on this program about this is a very bisexual country. It seems to only apply to people who label themselves as heterosexual. This bisexual, because if you ask a gay guy, they're like, nah, like the conversation I had with Jason the other day. He said, "Gay guys never think about heteros. You don't exist to us." I don't know, but
that makes sense. I mean, if you're a full-on gay and you just like railing out dudes, why would you care about?
So it's right. So, but you're saying it's a bisexual country, unless you happen to be gay, then you're not bisexual.
Well, gay is just part of it, but I think overall the country overall is bisexual.
Wow.
I feel terrible because I was so busy running my mouth that I forgot to tell everybody that Ann said hi, and she said hi while Josh was still here, and she said hi to Josh, and now Josh isn't here, so now I got to text Josh and say Ann just said hi, but he's not going to read my text.
She'll return her call. He'll return her calls.
Well, I'll text her. I'll text him and let him know that Ann said hi, but he won't. He doesn't respond to my text, so.
No, you just ask. He'll just get Ann's number and then text her directly and cut you out because you're the middleman.
Okay, so I'll just post Josh's phone number in the chat here, and then everybody can text Josh.
So let me, on the subject of texting, this morning, right before we go in live here, I got a text from my ex-brother's best friend.
Is that the one from Lyndhurst?
Well, maybe that was him calling to say sorry. He lives in Lyndhurst. Yes, no, but I got a text message from this guy, and here's the deal. The last words I said to him were, "Get off my fucking page, you Nazi fuck." It was on my Facebook page, like saying he's a Trumper, a hardcore Trumper, just like my ex-brother was. So it just texted me out of nowhere this morning. Work. Have a great day. Getting a 2-mile walk in. And what do you think my response to him was?
Don't come back from your walk?
No. Stop texting me, you Nazi fuck.
Oh, okay.
And then so maybe it was him calling from but you know, he still got me in his phone. This is months ago. This is November 6th that I told him, drop dead, you Nazi fuck, get off my page, you Nazi fuck, whatever. And now he's texting me. He kept me in his phone from November till now. Even though I told him drop dead, you Nazi fuck. Would you?
Well, this is what he can say that he's the bigger person, and he's still trying to reach out. He's still trying to reach across the aisle, but you don't want to reach back.
He's not a bigger person. He's a drunk fuck. He's a drunk.
I'm just saying he gets to say that.
I'm just saying this on the air just in case He wants to sue me. He's the kind of guy who gets drunk at 8 o'clock in the morning. That could have been that's not a pocket dial. That's a drunk dial. Like, I don't know the difference between Mike Nappo and Matt Nappo. I'm just so fucking drunk. Anyway. All right, that's a show for you folks. Oh, is that a show? That's not a show. Go ahead. You have something. GG's got something.
No, I had a crackling in my ear. Sometimes I can't tell if everybody hears or if I just hear it.
I think you just heard it. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
The elevator was so fast last night, and my ears popped.
So what time did you leave to go to that gig yesterday?
I left here at 11:45, 11:50 something in the morning, and got home at 10 after 11 last night. That's, you know what? So you get paid a lot for the couple of hours you paint there, but if you break it down on hourly, fucking a Walmart worker here.
How much time did you spend commuting then out of all that time?
Most of it, almost all of it. I mean, basically, about an hour setup, another half hour cleanup, and 2 hours painting, and then all the rest of it, 12 hours was a commute. It was fucking brutal.
That is terrible.
And it's better now than it ever was because they got rid of the toll booth, the Midtown Tunnel. It's weird. Somehow they capture your information. You don't even see cameras or anything. Somehow you get charged a toll electronically without Easy Pass. There's no booths anymore. So that makes the tunnel faster, but it's still a long fucking commute. Once you get into Manhattan, it is fucking death race. It's like, you know what? That's my lane. That's my lane. It's like you're willing to fucking crash your Tesla truck into my cheap little fucking what do I have? Mazda Tribute. I forget. But you know, we're willing to wreck your car for a lane. All right, I'm gonna let you have it because I don't want to get slowed down. I'm on my way to a gig, but it's just fucking crazy aggressive. They're insane. Like they're ready to run people over. I shocked a woman last night because she was waiting to cross the road, and I stopped for her and went like this. She was like, "What the fuck? You want me to walk in front of cars? I know you're gonna run me over."
I was in Detroit, and I have I have a generally I just like have a gesture, I would like wave people or whatever. But I was in Detroit, and I saw this guy waiting to cross, and I stopped to let him cross. And I realized that he was wearing, what looked like gang paraphernalia, And so he looked at me and he said, thanks. And I was going to use a hand gesture to, say it was okay. And then I realized, I don't know what hand gestures I can make around here. So I just resorted to do this. I just gave him the black man head. No, because that's white power. This is white power. I can't do that.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, so I didn't even do that. No, I just nodded that because that's international.
I think
no matter where you are, if you're a black guy and you do this, that means we're good.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's international black. We're good.
Well, actually, here it's a deer saying, "Throw me an apple." All right. I don't know. Because I brought my wife. I didn't want to bring my wife. She wanted to come last night. I think she thinks I'm scoring. Like, first of all, I'm scoring what? How?
Weed.
Yeah, no, I could. Dispensaries every fucking 5 feet in New York. You could if you wanted to, but I mean, more and more dispensaries are out here now, within reasonable distance of me. I don't need to go to New York City to score, but. So she came with me. I blew up at her a little bit, trying to be helpful. But to be honest, if I didn't have her with me, I probably wouldn't have made the gig on time, cutting those little fucking opening those canvases, those little mini canvases, 180 of them, putting them on all the tables.
So you had to cut them? I thought they sent them in advance for them to do it.
They send them in advance, but they come individually wrapped in cellophane. So and the tight cellophane, so you can't just rip it off. You got to take a knife.
Okay, and I know how you have trouble with opening things.
Yes, I'm glad you know. So
what time did you leave that place to get home then?
The thing ended at 8 o'clock. I was out of there by 8:30. It took me 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes to get home, which is good. That means there's very light traffic, and it's not.
Yeah, that's just so crazy that you have to say, yeah, 3 hours, not so bad.
Yeah, and so I try to impress this on the people. The people who book it are in San Francisco. It's like you have no idea. And last night I'm on the gig, right? And they text me, "Can you do one in New York City tomorrow at 12 noon?" 12 noon tomorrow, today, like right in an hour and a half from now. I was like, "No, I'm already booked," and I'm not really already booked. I mean, I have something to do, but I'm not. It's not like I have a gig or anything. But and she said, "Well, first of all, when she first said it, she said, we'll pay you $50 extra an hour for it if you can do this thing tomorrow." And then I said, no. And she said, we'll pay you even more. Please do it. I was like, it's no. Get me a hotel room. I'm not going all the way back to Shoreham tonight and then coming back here tomorrow. It's just too much. And
Yeah,
so,
you should put that in and see if you can start getting rooms. Make them get you a room for the fucking night.
This is where I'm like, how much are these fucking people actually charging, making money on this?
You should try it because, like, a friend of mine, she's currently searching for a job and she can work in HR, and she's one of the companies she's interviewing with is this very large retailer, but it's a retailer that's known for dealing with Richie Riches. And like she told me, it's like, well, it is a bit risky because of the economy and stuff, but she made a good point. She said, most people aren't buying this stuff from them. It's all rich people, and they don't give a fuck about the economy.
Well, that's what I was kind of talking about, the capitalism run amok, which you can see in New York City. Again, all these people who were there were employees of this company, but they've never met. They've never been to New York City. So they're paying for hotel rooms for all these fucking people. The amount of money that's just getting thrown around and wasted, and how much are they paying for paint parties and douchebags like me to come in and be a silly little Bob Ross guy for them? The money is silly. And then we walk out on the street and you see people, can't fucking buy dinner. It's just
yeah. If I were you, I'd start pushing for hotel rooms if they're going to ask you to come into Manhattan, especially doing all that time.
Fucking crazy. It's crazy. When I break it down, I feel like I'm abused on the money, and then this fucking guy. I did keep the receipt. I made the guy write me a receipt, but he was actually just going for it. I was going to tip him anyway. I was going to tip him when he brought my car up, but then he forced me to pay him an extra $20 when the company had already paid for my parking. Fuck you. That was your tip. Give me a receipt for it.
Yeah, the thing I found that was horrible about Long Island, like I always knew like the traffic was bad and stuff, but and GD would probably relate to this because where we both live, if we need to go someplace that's typically like 15 miles away, it'll take us less than 10 minutes.
Right.
Because typically it's a 15 miles and we're not inundated with all this fucking traffic just to get up to a Walmart. And so when I go to Long Island, it's just frustrating because it's like I've only got to go 5 miles down the road and it's going to take me fucking 40 minutes. Come on.
Here, I'll be perfectly honest with you. If I'm going to go someplace, just to get to the main road where I can start to go to that place takes 35 minutes. To get to the Long Island Expressway from here is it's like you gotta tag on 35 minutes just on launch time. Getting launched.
Now I know where my wife and I used to live before we lived here. We were so far in the boondocks that it took us 15 minutes to get out of our neighborhood to get to a civilized road. Where they actually use lines.
That's what I'm talking about. That's here.
It's like took 15 minutes to get out of the neighborhood. So now where we are, it takes probably 4 or 5 minutes to get out of the neighborhood till we get to where they use lines on the road.
Yeah,
but
you know what? I don't think I would go back to that if I could. To be honest with you, I mean, I know it's a hassle, but I like having no no fucking neighbors close. I hate people. I hate being. I don't hate people. I hate being too close to people all the time. The place I lived. Two houses before I was living with a young lady in Oceanside, Island Park, New York, and from my bedroom I could hear. There's a little house next door to us, but it was really like 2 feet away. There's 2 feet of space between it, literally 2 feet of space between the houses, and I could hear when they flushed their toilet from my house.
Well, like with like Josh, he's going to LA, and like when we've had conversations, and like I'm starting to send stuff out for him so we can see if we can get him booked in places. It's like I have to know where he's living, because you just can't put somebody in any place in LA, because depending where he is in LA, it could take him fucking 3 hours to get down there. And it's like,
I had a friend of mine. I worked on a movie set in LA, and the set was actually 1 mile from his house. And when he went to work when I was there, he used to ride his bike to work because it only took him like 10 minutes to ride his bike. But when I was there, we both couldn't ride his bike. So to get to the movie set, we had to take his car, and it took us like 45 minutes to drive that 1 hour. I mean, to drive that 1 mile, like 45 minutes.
First of all, this guy's fucking lame. If it takes you 10 minutes to ride a bike 1 mile, there's something wrong with you.
Well, yeah, there's still
hills. Steven? Was it Steven?
No. And I'm not even gonna mention his name because we're not close anymore.
You don't have to. Well, you could call him Steven.
That trip broke our friendship.
Steven can't come to work because there's an incline to get into the place.
He's not inclined to come to work today. But that's nobody walks in LA. You could walk a mile in 10 minutes, easy. I think.
Well, again, it was somewhat uphill, but it's still, like I said about 10 minutes, but it's no.
But they won't do it. That's they refuse to walk. At least in New York. And again, I made this comment earlier. If you could take a tram into the city from the burbs or from Brooklyn, Queens, even, it's not a bad place to be. Walking around the city is actually fun when the weather is nice. But driving is fucking insane, man. They need to have a special city driving training course. So it's different in the suburb. It's different in rural areas. It's you have to have a kind of a very competitive mindset towards it, and sometimes you got to take on a really aggressive mode, and then you can't take that with you once you get out of the city, because then you're like a fucking maniac. You're like,
do you not take the train in because you just have too much shit with you to bring?
Yesterday. Well, also Penn Station.
But you also had to have a voice box, right? You had a voice amp.
You know what the voice box is? It's a microphone hooked up to like a transistor radio, fucking this big. They put, and it's like, yeah, that's good if the person's right in front of you, but it's not a PA system. The people in the background, I was yelling, "Hey, take your fucking brush out now!"
You got to get one of those mics that work on any radio or like Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And you just
it'll work on your phone, and plug it into it.
But then and the speaker is right on the mic.
I told you what you should have done. That was you could have created a program, not like a thing on StreamYard, and just tell everybody to log in. That way, you could just talk to your phone, and they'd all hear you on their phones.
Here's the deal: you log into StreamYard, and 5 minutes after I said something, you'll hear it.
Okay, then you Zoom. No.
So they won't pay to send a helicopter to bring you in like Matt Lauer used to do.
Well, I told my wife I'm gonna get fired today, and that's fine because I booked another one for myself last night. I want to book them for myself so I keep the fucking money, but also I'm in charge of the planning, and I get to choose the fucking paintings. I'm not. Here's the thing I was doing yesterday. I don't know if you could see this here. Let's see.
Okay. 4K. So you didn't have to paint on the little tiny thing. You just used a regular canvas and divided it into four.
So they can see what I'm doing from the back of the room.
Okay, right? Yeah.
but they're painting it on these tiny little fucking squares. They're like, how are you gonna fucking paint?
Okay, so they're trying. Oh, so they're actually painting what you're painting. They're not like saying. So if you say paint a sun or a sunset, they don't get to pick their own sunset.
Well, in the face. I don't know.
Yeah, but
you're not bound by code of ethics here. They or a vow of, but they're supposed to paint what I'm painting. But a couple of guys went off the rails and just fucking started painting.
Started painting nudes.
Yeah.
There's at least gonna be one guy in that class that's like, oh man, my wife can do this tonight. This will be fun.
So one guy, when we were doing the cactus scene, one guy made it a fucking dildo.
I didn't know, Ron. You didn't tell me you were going to New York for this.
But I don't want to have to force myself to learn somebody else's painting and try to copy that so I could teach it to other people. I want to, go there and let's do a Matt Napo. Here this is the happy bush where Jimmy Hoffa is buried. Now I made the Jimmy Hoffa joke last night. Not one person fucking got it. Either that or they just didn't think it was funny. But I don't think they got the reference.
Well, they also could be potential witnesses and didn't want to admit to it.
Or they were probably like, can you just paint?
No, they were drunk. They were fucking drunk. And my wife, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. Somebody I know who was there believes that everybody in New York City is gay. She subscribes to the
Ron, you were there. Didn't say.
She's definitely.
I'm getting to think that Ron doesn't want me around.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think that Ron doesn't like me anymore.
The men there seem more in touch with their feminine side. I mean, on a large scale.
So they're metrosexuals.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's the word she used, metrosexual.
Yeah, they're just more comfortable versus like if you were, let's say, I don't know, in a bar in Kansas doing that. I mean, in a city you can do that, and even around here it's gotten a lot better. Like I remember there used to be bars that were just like known as like rough or like biker bars, heavy, and like most of those places now you walk in and they're like, it's all inclusive here. Everyone's welcome.
Wow. Well, I remember the days when all inclusive meant your drinks and food all were on one bill.
Yeah. It really, honestly, like looking around and seeing like some of the people that are still at bars and things like that, it is kind of like watching an old breed slowly die off of certain men.
Yeah,
they're like very old and like I don't understand this, and why are men allowed to go into the women's bathroom? And but that my wife almost got in a confrontation with these guys at a VFW because it was like this group of old white guys, and they're like, yeah, we don't understand that women can go into a men's bathroom. In our day, we would just sneak in the bathroom and hide. And my wife's like, how is that any better? That's
VFWs, Knights of Columbus, all these places that are still doing bingo night and whatever. Man, that's where the Archie bunkers are hiding. That's definitely where you will just find all these old white angry no men in the women's room, no fake women in the women's room, whatever.
Yeah, and at all VFWs, like at 7:00, they do the thing where they ring the bell and things like that, and everyone, stands up for a moment of silence, and every time that happens, like I told Laura, you know what I think of? I think of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and there is an episode where Larry David is at a country club, and this guy comes, he's talking to him, it's like, hey Larry, would you pray for my father? And Larry's like, I'm not going to, because is God waiting for Larry's prayer? Wouldn't it be more important coming from you than me?
Yeah. And also with that, like maybe God wants to meet this guy. He's ready for him. And he's saying, God, he's better. I want to keep him. No. Let God take him. It's God's choice. Let him have him.
And some people would be upset at me. They're like, that's so disrespectful or whatever. But that's how I view all death. in all death memorials, honestly, to me, because maybe it's because my dad was killed before I was born and shit. But I like all memorials. I really find uncomfortable and kind of funny. It's like we're doing this. All right.
I said something that triggered a lot of people a couple of years ago. I said, going to people's graves. This idea that we visit graves. That's to me an unhealthy practice. You go there and you're just like talking to a rock, assuming that the person is under that rock. They're not there, but also you're just like putting yourself through fucking torture when you go there. Oh, some people find peace in it. Like that. How do you find peace in talking to a fucking rock? All you're doing is remembering they're dead. And you could do that at home, save an hour's drive or wherever it is, and you kind of have a drink ready, so you get a big fat tube ready, and just kind of get over the pain quicker if you just stay home. But going, I don't know, feels like these visits to the cemetery.
Well, I used to go to my father's grave once in a while because he died when I was very young, and I only have like 12 memories of him. Honestly, 12 real memories. I mean, there were things like my brother would tell me that we did this, but because he was older, he would remember. And it would become like a false memory.
Coming up on a GD Willie C, where they intersect in the Venn diagram. I don't know if you know this about my father, but I have only 12 memories of him, and one of those is I woke up with his cock in my mouth.
Well, out of those 12 memories, how many are good?
Well, that's a good question. I would say 7.
So do you remember him more as a bastard or just some guy?
In my memories, as I get older, there's like a revisionist history involved. Like maybe because when I was younger, I just thought, no, he was just a mean bastard. And as I got older, I started thinking, well, maybe he was still trying. There's some things he tried to teach me well. Like there's some things he taught me very well. He instilled some very strong values in me. But some of the ways that he tried to teach me those values, I think, are a little bit mean and nasty. Like he wanted me to take pride in myself and pride in my surroundings and be honest and forthright and stand up for myself and stuff like that. But I don't think he had to beat me for some of those lessons, I think some of those lessons he could have, not had to beat me with a wet leather strap. I don't think that was necessary.
I just found some newfound respect and admiration for your father. I would love to. I wish he was still around to beat you some more. So.
Well, to be honest, he would have been very weak.
You don't have to be honest. Josh was doing that to be honest stuff too. You don't have to be honest here.
No, I'd like to clarify this. My father died of cancer, and he was very, very weak by the time I was 8.
Oh,
by the time I was 10, if he had lived by the time I was 10, I would have been able to take him.
All right, then.
Yeah.
And then you would have been what you are now, a guy who beats up cancer patients.
Yeah, but with a purpose.
All right. Ian, what's going on, my brother? You got a new alarm clock, or your old alarm clock broken? What's happening here? We miss you. We need you. You can't be a 5th Beatle and then just show up at the end of the concert for the chick.
You can be a 4th monkey. You can be a 4th Herman's hermit. You can be a 4th turtle. I mean, 5th turtle, but you cannot be a 5th Beatle.
I think those bands
the standards are higher.
I don't know how many hermits were there.
I thought there were 4 hermits, but
now there's only 1. Just that Peter Noon guy. He's the sole hermit.
Really? I'm going to look this up now. Herman's Hermits.
Yeah, but I think all those bands had like 6 people in them already, so you could be the 7th hermit or whatever. We miss you. I just want. This is my emotional reaching out to you, saying we miss you, buddy. How about a hug?
Herman's Hermits had 5 members.
I'm the 6'11" spoonful. Spoonful could be a spoonful of. Oh, yeah.
You could be the 4th Dog Knight, but.
Now that guy, that 3 Dog Night guy, he went off the rails, right? He went totally off the rails. Went psychotic for a while.
Well, Mama told him not to come, so it was a hell of a party.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my hash pipe.
Okay.
I can't, even with the wrench, I can't open it up to clean it. It's got
I saw a headline about Neil Young, but I didn't read the story because it was like Neil Young said that he may not be able to get back into the U.S. because of Trump.
Wait, doesn't he? I thought he had citizenship here and actually owns a home here. Like he lives here more than Canada now.
Probably, but I feel because it's Neil Young, he's just saying that to be in the press for some reason.
Neil Young stuff. I'm still getting lots of comments on the YouTube thing on the Neil Young stuff, and one guy said,
"How could you do this to us?"
No, he was talking about. I liked him before he got all political. Like he was political at 16. Well, since Soldiers and Nixon coming, he was political right from the start. I could understand you don't like him, you don't like his politics, but to say now, 55 years later, I don't like. I liked him before he got political. He was always fucking political.
And he never didn't know that he was involved in that song Ohio, or maybe he never listened to it.
I mean, I don't even like Neil Young, and I know that he's been political from day one.
Alabama, I hope Neil Young will remember Southern Man don't need him around anyhow. This is all backlash from his fucking political shit starting when he was a fucking teenager. And so, but I could see, Ron just said, I'm not even a Neil Young fan. I know to claim I liked him before he got political. Would you go to the nursery when he was fucking in the incubator and I liked him then? Because 2 weeks later he was fucking political and then bashing people. I don't know. How do you say I liked him before? Like MAGA. When was America great again?
But you know what? I will give Neil Young credit. I feel Neil Young is better than Leonard Skinner just because he's not rotating band. It's like we just got to keep playing "Sweet Home Alabama." We just need one original member so we can say we're Leonard Skinner.
And the whole thing is Leonard Skinner is definitely racist. I mean, even at truth, and I know most of them are dead, but they were true Southern boys, and the thing they were pushing back on Neil Young again wasn't really Southern man, just they included that line, but Alabama was a talk about how Alabama was still holding on to its racist roots and it was time to give that up, and they were like, no, this is our way of life down here. So fuck them. I mean, they had some good songs, but
well, like here where I'm at in central Pennsylvania, we have this. There's a weird streak of like redneck that lives here where it's because the redneck has evolved because before it used to be just like all
they
Leonard.
Used to drag their knuckles when they walked.
Yeah, it used to be all Leonard Skinner and AC/DC, but now like with the younger generation, it's not real. You might get a little Skinner, but now you got more of like. Like we talked yesterday, like the Morgan Wallen shit, where it's like the trap country or whatever you want to call it. That's kind of like where they have evolved to. And there's a subgenre of rednecks that won't go that direction. And they're still living like they got to listen to Merle Haggard and like just the whole fucking
I still
classic
play Merle
country
Haggard all the time. Big Merle Haggard, I shouldn't say big personally. But his music is right in my wheelhouse for singing and stuff. So I do a lot of Merle Haggard and still get big responses to stupid stuff. The Merle Haggard stuff, Mama Tried.
Oh, and David Allen.
Allen Coe was all out fucking Klansman.
Yes.
Most people don't know of this from his like commercial releases, but he had lots of really overtly, completely racist songs that he put out privately, along with his overtly sexual perversion stuff. "Cum Stains on Her Pillow" was one of his most popular.
There is a bar here. There is a bar here. If I took GD to it, if we both walked in. They have a digital jukebox, and you would hear a record scratch if he walked in.
Wow. When we was in North Carolina, there's the closest store to where we were staying. They didn't want me to go in. My wife and her friend says, "We'll go in. No, don't you go in because there might be trouble if you go in."
Wow. Wow.
And those,
Were they selling copies of Song of the South? Because we stopped.
They were giving them away.
we stopped at like this like roadside stand, like someplace outside of Atlanta. This is in Georgia. We went in there, and they're like selling their fucking boiled nasty ass peanuts, and then they have like a movie section, and it was all bootleg copies of Song of the South.
Wow. Boiled peanuts. That's something I don't fucking get.
On VHS.
Now I have this on relatively good authority because I was to wonder why that everywhere else in the civilized world peanuts are roasted, but in the South they were boiled. And what I'm told is that because of their soft teeth, because of the lack of dental hygiene, they could not eat the regular roasted peanuts because they're too hard. So the boiled peanuts are softer, and so they could just mush them. And I'm thinking, why not just have peanut butter then? Why just eat peanut butter? Don't boil them. Why ruin a good thing?
On the redneck teeth thing, the other day there was J.D. Vance. When he went to Greenland and he was in a military barracks with his hat on, and eating in the mess hall with his hat on. I made a comment that most people in the Marines would look at that and say, "This guy can't be an ex-Marine." The first thing they teach you the first day in boot camp is you take your cover off when you go indoors, and especially while you're eating, you don't wear your hat. And I got this one guy said, "Well, I must be the exception to that because I did 12 years in the Marines, and I'm wearing my hat indoors right now." And then I looked at his profile picture, and the guy's got one tooth. Like, what kind of VA? Are you afraid to go to the VA for your dental coverage? I mean, you got one tooth. I don't see a lot of Marines walking around with one tooth.
No. Normally, the protocol is if in the military, if you're wearing your cover inside a building, that means you have a weapon on you. That's what that is supposed to signify.
Oh, I didn't.
Because typically in a building, the only people that will have their hats on are MPs because they're carrying a weapon.
I learned something here this morning. Go figure.
Yeah,
I learned something.
Yeah, that's what my brother-in-law has told me. He said if you're in the building and you have your hat on, that means you have a live weapon.
That's what I was told just before the guy shot me.
Too bad my brother. Too bad my brother died.
He says it's my fault. He says, "Look, GD, it's your fault. Didn't you see I was wearing a hat?"
My brother died on election day, but otherwise I would call him and ask him about this because he still lives everything Marine. He's Marine. Yeah. Dogcatcher says what? Drive-by truckers have a great song called Ronnie and Neil. Oh, I did not. I gotta check that out. Ronnie and Neil. Hey, got to be on YouTube, right? I want to come back to something that Ron said earlier, or maybe Josh said about writing letters. You said you're writing letters. Is that the best way? I mean, you're talking about email? I assume not like actual mail letters, snail mail letters. But is that the best way to make your first contact? Is through, I don't know, an email, a letter of introduction type thing?
Yeah. The email has his EPK in it. There's a pitch in it to hire him, and pretty much.
The reason I ask is because I've been doing that since I left the Rocket 45s, and have been trying to book myself. And every place I do that, they say, "Come and meet me." The best way is to stop by the club and talk to the booker. Like, wow, you got to commit like travel time and go book yourself, and that seems like a hassle. But it seems I think
they're cut down on stuff because if somebody shows up at a place to actually go through that extra work, then they're probably serious, but very desperate. But it doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee anything because I'm sorry, like I can't tell you how many times I've met with bookers and stuff, and they'll even send Ron the information. I say, "Ron, I ran into this guy. He's a booker, blah blah blah," and I'll send the information to Ron in case he wants to. And like to this day, this guy here, I'm not going to mention Kenneth by name, but he doesn't even return, you know, and I met him in person. As a matter of fact, he recommended me. And he doesn't, reach back
Well,
out.
like that, it's like that place in Gettysburg. I forget the name of it, and they kept saying, "Oh yeah, we want to do comedy shows. We want to do comedy shows." And I even I emailed them at first
Is
because
that
I
the
think
Liberty one? Like Liberty
yeah,
something?
yeah, or so it's like a food hall,
Right.
and then you gave me that information. Then I reached out to them and we had a little back and forth. Then I actually met them in fucking person because I was there, and they're like, "Oh, we want to do stuff." But now I don't think they're doing any comedy at all because they had one person producing shows, but they weren't great shows, most of them.
Yeah, and matter of fact, when they told me who they were working with, I said you really should try someone else as well. Because I told them.
Now, when you told them,
and even whenever when I gave you the information, Ron, I also told them that I was going to give you the information. I said I recommend. I said I recommend Ron Kane. He puts on good shows, and
did you say dick shows? I thought
well,
you said shows.
I left that ambiguous. Because I don't know what they're going to be paying Ron to do. It all depends. It's about the money. I'm sure that Ron has like a certain
when you
price.
said this thing about this guy who did the bad shows, was that in person or was that like an email or a phone call? Because
no, it's person. It was face to face.
My problem was because all this if I got to go out and book myself that way, the rejection is harder. If I drive an hour and a half to go meet with somebody, have a 5-minute conversation with them, and then I don't get the gig, I'm pissed. If I send them an email and I don't get the gig, it's like, there's other places.
Well, like I said, how should I put it? I felt really, really confident that I was, that I was getting. As a matter of fact, had me several times pick dates. But if I remember correctly, like first there was a woman, her last name was Fox, I think, and then they had a different booker like 2 weeks later, and then a different booker 2 weeks later, like a rotation of bookers. They're like going through, like it was hard to keep up with it, because I kept getting like pick a date or pick a time and then nothing. It's like, oh, she's not doing this anymore, so and so.
How do these guys who are booking these like tours for themselves, and they can't be going to like Denver to go and meet with the club owner or booker?
No, it's just through email, and you have email conversations and sometimes phone calls and things like that. Normally, like when I'm going to set something up, I already have a plan in place, and I kind of give them a general idea of like, hey, this is what to expect. If you want it to work, here are some things that we're going to have to do together.
So
and
my
I won't.
misunderstanding this is email works if you're far enough away. That's the whole thing. Because if you're close enough, come meet me at the club.
Yes.
If you're 500 miles away, they'll answer an like
Exactly. Like if I'm like there is a place that's probably not even 10 minutes away from my house that I looked at possibly doing shows at, because it's like, all right, this would be nice. The layout is not too bad. This would be a good place for shows. And I went there, and like the manager was like, well, we can't turn off the TVs and this and that. I'm like, then you're not willing to make the sacrifice, at least try something, because and then he started telling me, he's like, well, I've been in the bar business all these years.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, well, then maybe you should leave, because I don't think you understand how entertainment works.
It's time to retire there. Go watch for you, mister. I've been in the bar business since Lincoln was shot.
Yeah.
Now, is the Ron Kane quality index the same for comedy specials as it is for the layout? Because you said they're not too bad, and that in your comedy reference, if it were a comedy special, that would mean the layout is phenomenal. Not too bad is beautiful.
No, not too bad. In that setting for me is like there are some issues with it. Overall, the sight lines are pretty good, but there are still issues. Every every room I think has some issues, especially like when you're doing like indie shit like this.
So for a comedy movie or a comedy special, Not Too Bad is award-winning, unbelievably funny. But for a layout, Not Too Bad is actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to attempt to speak for Ron only because I think this is a pattern with when I hear Ron talk about some things. Quite often, I hear Ron talk about a place being not too bad. It means they have issues, but they're willing to work with you.
Oh,
that's what that's all. When Ron talks about a venue and he says it's not too bad, that's what I hear. That
So
they
that's
have issues, but
kind of
they're
why
willing
my
to
wife
work on
said
it.
when I said, "What's it good for you?" She said, "Not too bad."
Well, like the place, like the venue that I started in Williamsport at Back Alley, like those the brothers that own that place, those guys are fantastic to work with because they understand like, oh, we gotta make sure that we take care of this show because we want people in the door and we want them to come back. They give me flexibility. They're willing to work with me. They've introduced me to other bar owners in the area because they like the work that I do and the comics that are brought in. So
I just have one question. You said the brothers who own the place, the black dudes.
No, these guys are all white.
Then they're not brothers. I'm sorry.
He said brothers, not brothers.
Oh, it's we're back to the hard R thing in brothers. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm learning lots here. You see, I'm getting educated. I'm getting educated in the whole plethora.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We're here to
bring
you. We're here to drag you to 2025 kicking and screaming.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes the obstacle I run into is that some people just aren't willing to spend the money either.
Well, that's where we start. I think this is epidemic. Where places that even used to be willing to spend the money seem to be less willing. Maybe they found out that comedians will fucking work for boiled peanuts. I don't know. It seems to be an epidemic thing, though, and God willing, it doesn't spread to music or paint people because they're still willing to pay money. I mean, I am fucking shocked that a painter can go in and do a 2-hour show and make 3 times what a musician or a comedian will make.
Well, when I was like 2 years ago or something, I was producing these outside shows for this this Mexican restaurant that's in this town of Dover, and like talking to the owner of that place, like very nice guy, and it was a good show to do. And like talking to him, he's like, yeah, people in this area, they don't mind paying, but they want experience. They want the experience now, he said. People aren't really, that's what they want because they're spending money. And so now everyone wants their value. So it's the experience that you offer.
It's comedy because when comedy clubs on Long Island had their heyday, when there were 20 or 30 real active and productive comedy clubs here, it was a date night thing. Now it seems like it's more of a married couple thing or guys' night out or girls' night out type of thing, where it's not like a place you would go single to bring your date to try to get laid at the end of the night, right?
Yeah, like my show this past weekend in Williamsport, it was postponed because it was originally a Valentine's Day show, and so we had it, and there were a lot of couples there, and like older couples too.
I am a freak. I'm a freak in that I'm a freak in a lot of ways, but in that I'm the only person I know who's ever really just gone to a comedy club completely, not for an open mic night, to see a comedy show alone. And they look at you like
I do that. I do that a lot, quite much. I do that myself.
Well, because you don't have anybody at all, right?
Well, no, that's not true. I go there because it's like going to school. Sometimes I go there. It's one of the things I do. If it's been a while since I've been, like, if I'm having trouble writing new material, or even if I've written, no. But what happens is I get competitive. I'll go to a show and I'll watch the comedians and I'll go, oh, I can do way better than that. and it actually gets this creative juice. It's like a competitive thing. And then I go home and read it like write again because it's like I can do better than that, and it becomes a competitive thing.
Oh.
No.
No
So
wonder
yeah,
nobody likes
I'll go to shows by myself all the time.
No wonder nobody likes you. The arts is not a competitive thing. You should never be looking at somebody thinking, "Oh, I could be better than that," or they can better. It's not. It's not the Olympic sport.
No, it is competitive, but it's. I don't do that like with them. I don't go up to them and say, "Oh man, you suck. I can do better than that." No, I'm just saying
that's a better way to do it.
It's an internal thing. It's an internal thing. Like it's like
I get
okay,
it, but it's still just framing it in your mind is I don't know. Because I try to tell. Maybe I'm just because there are too many people. Especially in this painting world where people are like, "I suck," and I know I'm one of those people too. But like it's because you're judging yourself against other people. It's not competitive, and it's you do the best you can do. That's all you can do is improve daily on yourself, and not if you're going to compete with yourself. That's my nature. Maybe I'm full of shit.
One of the things that's tough about producing shows at a level like this is that there is talent, but unfortunately, the talent pool isn't very deep either. Because it's just because of experience or whatever. So that makes it challenging to put on consistently good shows because you can see there are some comics who will tell you, "Oh yeah, I can do 15 minutes," and they'll tell me that, and I'll go, "Yeah, you maybe got 7, if that."
The clickiness of it, like some clubs just have the same. And I'm just thinking in music, I know this for it's been a problem here. Big complaints is you get the same band or same artist in twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month in the same venue, and people complain about that. Like they're good, but they're ruining the club's traffic by just always having the same people in there. It's the clickiness in comedy clubs. Part of the problem.
Oh yeah, I have professionally touring. I have friends that are professional touring comics, and they'll ask me about places to go or something, and I say, okay, here, try this place. Here's your contact, but don't mention my name. Don't mention my name because if you mention my name, it's going to hurt you. Because they'll say things like, well, if I get the gig, if I get the headlining gig, I'll have you as a feature. I said, okay, but don't tell them that. If you get the gig, don't mention my name because I am persona non grata. You're a good comic. I'm just doing the introduction without my name. I'm giving them the contact. The rest of they're on their own. Because they're good comics. Like I said, they're professional. They're touring. They got good material. And if they weren't funny, I wouldn't recommend them, even though I don't want them to use my name.
Well,
but that's to protect them.
Yeah, and here's the hard thing for comics to swallow is that
my cock.
Most of the comics at a regional level are not turning material like a professional comic would, or have the ability to turn material and keep things really, really fresh. And so here there's people always trying to vie for spots at these places. But if you're an indie club, you can't keep bringing in the same comics all the time either, because you're going to have what you just mentioned, Matt. The same thing is like, well, someone seen their act a month ago, and maybe they have one new joke, or maybe they move some things around. So
consumer level, they notice that they're back there all the time, and they stop even looking to see who's at that club because they're just assuming, oh, it's the same old shit. That's the thing that's happening in music.
But that's here's well, real quick. Mickey D says hi to everybody.
Hey, Mickey D.
But
I'll have
Mickey Delaney.
Big Mac.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought we were at Mickey D.
This is back when I first started doing comedy. I used to frequent this one open mic. I had rotations, and there's one open mic. They were looking for people to open at the cellar door where Ron was, and so I was trying to get in there. And I said to the guy, I said, can I get like a 7-minute spot at the cellar door? He goes, well, here's the problem, Gigi. He goes, I've seen you perform 5 times here. And when I did those open mics, we got 7-minute sets. I've seen you perform 5 times here, and I've never seen you do the same thing twice. You're funny, but I've never seen you do the same thing twice, so I don't know that you have a good 5 minutes. See, you make the same face. The same face.
I was like, what the fuck? That means I got 2 hours. You see me 5 times.
Yeah, you see me 5 times doing 7-minute sets. He's never seen the same thing twice, and he says, and I'm funny. But he's not sure that I have a 5-minute set.
I don't think you have 5 minutes in you, because when I said you were good, I meant 3 seconds at a time.
And eventually, I mean, I wound up eventually doing it, but I think somebody canceled. He got desperate or something.
Yeah, I'll just addressing what Ron said about material. It's gonna sound like I'm bashing him. I'm not bashing him. I want to be. No, not Ron.
You are. Not Ron. No, you're not bashing
I'm
Ron.
directing this at Steven because I like Steven, and I'm meaning to be productive, and I don't want to kind of come across as putting him down. I'm not putting him down, but he's young enough that he still has hope and the world in front of him, but not recognizing that window, he'll be 50 in a blink of an eye. And if I were him, if you're serious about it, you got to be a hustler. You got to keep, if you're that age and you really have aspirations of becoming that full time and nothing else and not having to take a Verizon job, you got to put yourself into it. You can't be playing fucking flight games. You got to be writing jokes all day, writing material.
The only thing I would recommend to Steven is that he leaves a wheelchair. Okay, it's a hindrance. He's not getting on stages with it. He's got to get back to his walker or upright just walking.
He's trying to get back to crutches. He said he's trying to get back.
Get back to crutches. Get back.
I saw a picture of him with with crutches last night on Facebook. Like that
was an old picture.
It is.
No, I have no idea. I didn't see the picture.
But
I was busy writing.
Again, this doesn't just apply to Steven, but massively on a big scale in comedy. You see these guys, you slow that down, whatever. If you're serious, you got to be a fucking hustler. If you're young and you really aspire to be a comedian and nothing but a comedian, or maybe an actor, comedian, whatever. You gotta be. This has to be your fucking life. You got to be fucking every waking moment thinking about how can I improve because it is so competitive. There's so many people who want that job. If you're young enough, before especially in your early 30s, you think you got fucking forever to work on this shit. You don't have forever. You're gonna be 50. You're gonna be 60, and you're gonna say, "Well, how if I was just 30? I was playing a fucking video game, and all of a sudden." I'm old, and that's gonna happen.
When I was when I was 30, I was still thinking I could be a musician, and then I was on the verge of giving up. I was 30 years old. I'm like, nobody. I was without a band. I'd lost my band broke up, and I was having trouble finding another band that I could fit into because it's like a relationship, and things just weren't gelling. And I was getting really depressed because I got the band at the band, she just wasn't working out. And a friend of mine, he was like listening to me practice, and I think it was doing Living Color, Cult of Personality type. Didn't do any Crack the Sky that night. Basically, I did like 3 or 4 Living Color songs, and he goes, "Yeah, but you're black, man. You're 30. You're black. You'll look like you're 30 forever. It's never too late for you." I'm like, no.
Well, that stereotype that black people age better. Some black people age better, but I know a lot of guys who, especially from my they didn't age well because they were fucking crackheads or cokeheads or whatever. They didn't age well. They look like fucking beat up by the time they were 30.
Well, like I've had conversations with Josh about this, and because he's making that big move, so of course he's excited, he's anxious, scared as well because that's a fucking big move. But like I told him, man, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Someone's phone.
My phone. I just hit voicemail because it was ringing and I wanted it to stop, and I hit voicemail. They won't leave.
Do that. It's like when the phone rings, everything we lose all hope.
Electromagnetic interference.
Yeah. RF.
But anyway, like we were having conversations, and like I told him, is like, yeah, this this has so much craziness to it. You could fail, you could succeed, but like I told him, at least he's trying.
Well,
At
and
least
it
he's
also seems
trying.
like he's got the work ethic. Like that's why I was
Yes.
mentioning there are too many people at his whatever age he is, but young people in comedy who are acting like and maybe it's because guys like you who get into it like later in life that
Yeah,
they
and
want to have forever.
yeah, and I told him like I'm so mad at myself that I didn't start earlier because like I know how good I could have been. But that I think that's what drives me today to be really good because like I never want to be like I never wanted to be like a guy where you tell people like, "Oh, are you still doing that comedy thing?" Or like when people come out to see me, I want them to be like, "Oh, he can actually do this." And it's not like I got lucky one night.
Right. Or it's just a hobby that you and a pipe dream and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and so, but I think a lot of guys in their 20s now, for them, I think it is a pipe dream because they just think, oh, because I got a couple of laughs at an open mic night, I can just stick with that.
I think what people really don't realize, Matt, is that to be successful, whether it be comedy or music, you got to climb the fucking mountain. And climbing the fucking mountain is not easy because there's so much heartbreak, loss, failure on that path. And you got to be able to fucking pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just be like, all right, I'm going to still keep going.
Yeah. I had an ex-friend who.
One of the things I admired about Josh is like what Josh was talking about. He slept in his car overnight to get a gig, and there were places when I was like, yeah, I mean, when I started doing comedy, I had that same attitude, even though I was like in my 50s, late 50s. Yeah, it's like I don't have a problem driving and staying in my car overnight, but I didn't have to. As a matter of fact, my wife would say, you don't have to stay in the car. Get a hotel. So it feels like I'm not paying any dues because the young guys are like starving. They're like starving, hanging out, and I don't. And I didn't have to do that. I don't even have to like struggle.
There's no nobility in the idea of the starving artist. There really, if you do it, you persevere through the starving. That's one thing. But too many people think like they're going to do it on purpose. I'm going to starve on purpose. I'm just
and me, it wasn't like I was trying to starve on purpose. I was just thinking to myself, I'm trying to be financially efficient. I mean, I've had jobs where I've slept in my car overnight, because I used to work up in the mountains, and sometimes it was easier to spend the night in the mountains, with a bucket in the back and pee and stuff like that, than to get out, leave the mountains and drive back out into the mountains the next day. So I'm used to that kind of thing. It's not like a hardship. It's just a temporary inconvenience. But
yeah, I don't want to speak for Josh, but I think if you would ask him about being a starving artist, he would tell you it fucking sucks.
Yeah, but I agree, and I mean, I know he's told me that, but he does it because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be like a successful comedian.
We used to call it at the eating fish out of a can period of your life.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, like he's leaving Denver, but in Denver, he's leaving a very stable job that pays him pretty decently. He's got his own apartment and all of that. He's living on his own, and he's giving up all of that to go to LA to live in someone's room.
Yeah.
See, and when I was younger, and all my friends were moving to LA, and they kept saying to me, Glenn, you got to come out to LA, man. This is where you belong. You can make it out here in LA. And I just didn't like LA. I just, I did not like LA, just like I do not like New York. I just don't like it as a place to live.
I don't understand how people could those urban things. And my wife asked me if I ever lived in New York City last night. No, I lived in LA, and that was bad enough. But in New York,
yeah. I mean, I even like I was on the outskirts of LA, and that wasn't so bad. It was kind of like beautiful, and this was after they got rid of the smog. Yes, you could see the ocean.
For the type of comedy you do, GD, you would actually do better out west, though. Whether not so much LA, but like I think you'd probably even do well in Denver,
I think what Ron is trying to say is you couldn't do any worse.
Well, it's just even they're just depending on what your comedy style is.
Well,
like out west, they're more out west. Everyone's a little more laid back. They're more willing to ride with you on stuff. And here in the Northeast, we want set up punch. It's all quick.
I think that's why Ted Bundy went out west, because they are more willing to ride with you.
There's a guy I'm working with trying to help me get agent ready, and what he had said to me was that, and I guess I knew this in a way already, because when I book my own shows, I book them in theaters. I know that I work better with this. What I do is better in a theater format. And so he was telling me after watching some of my stuff, he goes, "You belong in a theater, you're and at theater surroundings." So he was giving me theaters to check out to perform at, because the standard comedy club thing. I mean, I try. I mean, like, I think we did well. Like, Ron, we produced the show, the runway comedy thing.
Yeah,
that was different. And I like doing. That's the other thing. If I'm gonna do like a quote stand-up comedy show, I want it to be different enough that it stands out.
Right.
And I thought,
one of my former friends who died on election day last year, he was 55 years old and decided he wanted to do stand-up comedy. But I'm going to sneeze my head off.
While you're sneezing, now, is this a real death, or is this one of the people you killed off? Like, don't call me anymore, you Trumper.
The latter. He's listening now and getting angry
from beyond.
He said, "I don't know. I don't care about who's president or whatever."
Yeah, there's two columns. There's two columns for Matt. One is death, and the other is dead to me.
That's what I wanted to find out, which one it was.
He's in the second column. He's listening right now, and he's, "I love you like a brother, man." No, if you love me like a brother, you wouldn't fucking support the Nazis who want to fucking come and take me and put me in a concentration camp. But he decided he was gonna. 55 years old, he's going to be a comedian, but he has a full boat of friends on Facebook and social media. Like, he had the full 5,000, and still more people want to be his friends. He's one of these guys who had lots of connections on social media. So he went to this local club, which was not a comedy club. It was a music club, but it had a big stage, big venue, sound lights, and all that stuff. And he booked himself as the headliner and put on a bunch of really established comedians who worked the comedy clubs in the East Coast comedy circuit all the time. They had them on as openers for him, who this is his very first show. And they got like 5-10 minutes each or whatever. And he goes up to do an hour and a half. And I was there, and it blew. It fucking sucked. But because everybody there was his friends, they were laughing to be supportive. Now, because it was sounding like ridiculous booger jokes. He was fucking telling booger jokes. He went to a magic shop and bought this fucking goo he pulls out of his nose. Like, I mean, come on. That's not fucking comedy.
That's Gallagher cop. Well, it's funny.
Then he got a big head and thinks now, "Oh, look, I'm the fucking headline. I'm the new star of comedy." And he starts booking himself in comedy clubs. Like, he did it like 3 or 4 times and blew. And then realized, well, yeah, it's different to get all your friends and family to come and tell you you're great on your first show.
Yeah.
But then actually, when you're trying to do that for strangers who never saw you before, they don't know you from Adam, and you start pulling magic store boogers out of your nose. Like, this guy sucks. That's not funny. What are we, a kindergarten class? You suck. But I think that's a problem when you have these people who are popular and have great friends, great numbers of friends who will come out and support them. And I don't think the comedians who went up as his openers and features, I don't think they were serving themselves or the industry to be supporting that kind of stuff. It bothers me to see that. I'm sorry.
Hey, as a teaser for tomorrow, we should talk about fucking Amazon wanting to buy TikTok.
Oh, I did not know Amazon wants to.
You mean Bezos or Amazon? Because is Amazon trying to buy it as like a subsidiary, or is Bezos wanting to buy it as its own entity?
Amazon as a company.
TikTok shops, because they I just saw some of this thing. Plug your Amazon shop, integrate it with TikTok shops, your Amazon influencer pro. I was like, what the fuck? This is
If they buy it, I think that'll kill TikTok then.
You do?
Yeah, I think it'll be around, but having Amazon being that big, and it's just like anything. Once an American company gets behind it, they ruin it.
Ruin it, but it will still survive. And listen, that takes the threat away. That's all about this. We need an American investor so that they'll stop trying to ban it, right? That's.
But the thing they always forget, though, this is where it's like Amazon as a whole, looking at it, they'll be like, oh, look, this will be another division that we can blah 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 sell shit. But what Amazon doesn't have is the people who use it, and like kids, younger, like teenagers. Those are the people that really dictate social media apps.
Right.
So if kids start seeing like, this is like, just nasty, like corporate Amazon shit,
and it starts to become selling you like fucking shit you don't need. Fuck that. Right?
And also, like when what's his face bought Twitter and turned into X, he started trying to create new revenue models by charging people for a check mark and stuff like that. So if Bezos does a similar thing with, like, I won't give X a dime, and a lot of people I know left X and went to Blue Sky. This will probably encourage someone to make another TikTok.
Now, I'm an old man who's not tragically unhip. Did Meta buy WhatsApp and Telegraph, like Facebook and Instagram buy those two companies, WhatsApp and Telegraph?
Well, yeah, WhatsApp is owned by Meta, which is Facebook, and I don't, Telegram maybe. I mean, that is a very real possibility. But
yeah, I keep getting these. Well, yesterday I got another recruiter saying, "Oh, we really are interested in hiring you. Can you please contact us on WhatsApp?" I'm like, I don't want to fuck. I'm old. I'm not trusting. I don't want more apps on my phone. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
fucking call me.
Okay, Telegram is owned by Pavel Durov. He's the owner of the messaging app, which has 700 million monthly active users worldwide. Telegram, which is free to use, competes with messaging apps like Facebook, WhatsApp. And Pavel is a 37-year-old technology entrepreneur from Russia, created and owns the His net worth is 17.2 billion currently.
Damn, fucking, he's a consultant.
And the owner of Telegram.
Because when you on Instagram, if you want to share something with somebody, they'll say, or even on Facebook, there's a send now. There used to be just share, but if you hit send, it'll ask you for your WhatsApp or Telegram login. Like,
yeah, Instagram has been trying to be TikTok for years. Same with Google, the Shorts.
All right,
Matt, just a slightly different, but not too long ago, I think the thing is, I don't know if it was you who sent the picture. I think you sent us a picture of a small theater near your house.
Yeah, it's not a theater. It's a band rehearsal studio, but there's seating in it, and it looks like it would be great for a video production. And this is what I'm thinking, according to the specials idea, not just special, but just a comedy show to tape something there that could be really, really, I don't know, impressive from the look and feel and lighting. All the production value is already there. And so if it's easier to get something of quality on tape in a place like that, because it's set up for video production and audio production, than it is to do it in a comedy club. It seems to me like, it's probably, I only need to get like 30 or 40 people in there to make it feel like a full room. It might be a good place to do something. So that's what I sent you. Yeah. What are you going to say about it? You think it's a bad idea?
No, I was trying to remember where I saw it, because you know how things pictures hit a thread and then you have to find it again, go back in history, and like I know I saw it somewhere.
Well, it's so much more financially feasible to get, because they charge bands $15 an hour, $30. Nah, I'm thinking fucking ancient, but it couldn't be more than $50 an hour for the rental of this facility. And I think I could get some really quality people to do short segments in there, get some audience, and do some impressive video stuff for people to have, not specials, but impressive reels. Or when I say reels, not the short stuff that they put on Facebook, but demo reels of their work.
I mean, if you can market it as like, hey, this is a good chance to get a good solid 5 minutes that's nice and clear, blah blah blah. Yeah,
perfect production value. So the video, 3 camera shoot, audio is going to be pristine, so because you'll be wearing a lavalier mic or whatever, it will be really good board quality recording, all that kind of stuff that most people, the room noise, that's what kills it. Nobody wants to watch a demo reel from somebody they send in, and I got to struggle to hear what they're saying. I can hear the crowd laughing louder than I can hear the comedian on stage, all that kind of stuff. So I just thought there's some potential there. Now, I reached out to that person. They say, I got some ideas that will bring in some new kind of business for you. When can we talk? And I get the bot answers. So they don't want to. I got another place where I'm going to have to travel to go talk to them in person.
Yeah. Well, better you than me.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I'm trying to make you money.
When I first moved to Carroll County, and I was trying to start a room for open mics, and there were places that I was checking out were places that already had entertainment, just not comedy. So they had bands, they had stage, they had sound system and stuff like that. But the area that I lived in was so anti not wanting to talk to a black guy that, like, as soon as I get in the door, I'd have these phone conversations as I'll be into, set up an appointment to talk, go keep the appointment, and then they see what I look like. They're like, we don't want to do comedy. We're not interested. It's like, that was the whole point of the meeting when we talked on the phone. Then they would try to show up and tell me they don't want to do comedy.
Huh.
And then some of them, guess what, are doing comedy. but with white people.
Right. I don't know. You consider Italians white people?
I consider anybody who's white people by the census. I just go by the census.
Oh.
However you are in the census is how I call you.
I think I'm an olive guy. Most people think.
What did you check on the census? When the census came around in 2020, how did you check yourself?
White and Caucasian.
See,
non-Hispanic. Non-Hispanic.
I'm going because I got to piss, gentlemen.
Oh, you can't do that. I thought we were friends. You can't do that here.
Yeah, tomorrow join us for Slaptail. Slaptail. He's going to come and rip me a new Slaptail, right? I don't know. I got the feeling John doesn't like me, but we'll see. Well, maybe he'll be mean to me. Maybe he won't. But
I didn't get to show Josh my my DeWay compass.
All right, you tell Josh not to turn on his radio. Not to turn on his radio. Okay.
Got it.
All right. See you later.
listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.